Where do we get Christmas from? From the Bible or paganism? Here are some astonishing facts which may shock you. Do you know the origins of the Christmas tree? Of Santa Claus? Does Christmas really celebrate the birthday of Jesus? Was he really born on December 25th? Did Paul, the apostles, and the early Christian church of the New Testament celebrate Christmas? Do you know what the Bible says about the Christmas tree? Very few know why we do the things that we do, or where our customs come from.
I never cared for my name, Clive Staples. The world came to know me as C.S. Lewis. Perhaps you read my books. The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is the most famous, but there's one story that's not so well known. It's my story. Who better to tell it than me?
We were born into a world full of customs. Look at what Jeremiah the prophet says. It warns you not to follow the way of the heathens, for the heathens go into the forest, and they cut down a tree, and they fasten it down, and they deck it with silver and gold. Ain't that what you do? Santa Claus knocked Jesus out of the top spot, and the merchants who don't even believe in Jesus are busy selling you foolishness, making themselves rich and you poor for another year on the basis of a lie. And that's why they call it Xmas, because you don't know who it is that you are worshiping.
Nimrod is who you're really celebrating on the 25th day of December. You're not celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ. And if you are, you're making a mockery of it.
The real origin of Christmas goes back to ancient Babylon. The name Nimrod is Hebrew and derives from Mirad, meaning he rebelled. December 25th was the birthday of Nimrod. They celebrated this famous birthday over most of the known world for centuries before the birth of Jesus. December 25th was highly honored and recognized by Nimrod supporters. Many centuries later, it was Christianized as being the birthday of Jesus Christ. Nimrod was the founder of a religious system that began in ancient Babylon and has always opposed God. The Bible states that Nimrod was a mighty hunter before the Lord and began to be mighty in the earth. Biblical traditions associating Nimrod with the Tower of Babel led to his reputation as a king who was rebellious against God. This heaven-defying group of people wanted one government to rule the world and one religion to sway the hearts of mankind. This was their attempt to defy God and his authority, and the ringleader of this scheme was Nimrod. Nimrod had a plan to weld together and strengthen this evil religious system, and so he married his own mother, who was Semiramis. She was the first deified queen of Babylon, and Nimrod was the first deified king. Semiramis was known to be as wicked as her son, Nimrod. Incest was used here as a basis to unite this newly false religious system. This false system had a sacrificial plan, just as God had a plan of sacrifice. But pagan worship required the offering of human beings, which was often the sons and daughters of the worshippers. A counterfeit holy day was instituted in honor of the sun god, Sunday. After Nimrod's death, his so-called mother-wife, Semiramis, propagated the doctrine of the survival of Nimrod as a spirit being. She claimed the full-grown evergreen tree sprang overnight from a dead tree stump, which symbolized the springing forth unto new life of the dead Nimrod. On each anniversary of his birth, she claimed Nimrod would visit the evergreen tree and leave gifts upon it.
So the fun thing with the serpent is, how does a serpent talk? And not only that, but why is the serpent's punishment to crawl on its belly when that's what it does?
Traditionally, a Yule log was burned in the fireplace on Christmas Eve, and during the night, as the log's embers died, there appeared in the room, as if by magic, a Christmas tree surrounded by gifts. The Yule log represented the sun god Nimrod, and the Christmas tree represented himself, resurrected as his own son Tammuz. So our Christmas tree and our Yule log have tremendous meaning. The Yule log is the dead Nimrod, human ruler of ancient Babylon, who was eventually deified as the sun incarnate and hence a god. The Christmas tree is the mystical Tammuz, the slain god come to life again. This is the true origin of the Christmas character we all know as Santa Claus, who brings gifts underneath the evergreen tree every year on December 25th, which is very similar to the ruler Nimrod and his son Tammuz. Nimrod, the sun god reborn. December 25th was the birthday of Nimrod, and here we have the real origin of the Christmas tree. He who controls the past controls the future. So much of this world is backwards and inverted. Who is responsible for all of this? And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent, called the devil and Satan. Which deceiveth the whole earth. It's time we face the facts. This world is deceived, just as God prophesied it would be. It seems like this story has been told throughout our history, with many different players and many different associated religions. Nimrod's church had its beginning at Babylon, with the construction of the Tower of Babel on the plain of Shinar by the river Euphrates, many generations after the deluge. At the time of the construction of Babylon, at the Tower of Babel, mankind had multiplied and spoken one language. Cush, who was the son of Ham and grandson of Noah, helped to plan with his son Nimrod a blueprint by which to rule the world of humanity through a wicked counterfeit religion. Nimrod was the originator of sun worship and founder of Babylon. A Bible translation says, Nimrod became a mighty man of sin, a murderer of innocent men, and a rebel before the Lord. The beginning of Nimrod's plan had its origin at Babel, which was later known as Babylon. This city of Babylon, with the tower, whose top may reach unto heaven, was built by Nimrod. They called the Tower of Babel the gate to heaven, but God called it Babel confusion, for their God confused the language of the people, which forced them to scatter. Although all these Christian traditions have their roots in Babylonian mystery religion, it does not mean all these traditions are bad, such as giving gifts to one another and spending time with family and the ones you love. These are things that make us feel good, and I'm sure most of us do not have bad intentions come Christmas Day.
Winter celebrations are popular across the world, with Christmas dominating much of the Western tradition. It's a winning recipe of things we love: friends, family, gift-giving, singing, feasting, partying, and more. The Romans too celebrated Christmas as far back as the 4th century AD. However, before that, they had their own winter holiday, which honestly blows the stockings off our own tradition. It was a week-long Mardi Gras-style street festival fueled by endless drinking, where slaves became masters and fools were crowned king. You had all your classic holiday-style caroling and gift-giving, though far, far naughtier, with a healthy dose of ancient blackjack and hookers sprinkled on top. This was the festival of Saturnalia, Rome's awesome pagan Christmas.
I spend a lot of time reading history books to make these documentaries, yet I still find myself with a growing list of titles I just don't have time to get to. I'm sure in your own busy life it can be tough to find the time to explore as many books as you'd like. Thankfully, our sponsor Blinkist has a solution. Blinkist is an app that takes thousands of nonfiction books and uses experts to distill them down to their most essential ideas for you to easily digest with text or audio in just 15 minutes. This can be super helpful for engaging with subjects you'd never otherwise get to, or for making a short list of the books you definitely want to read in full. As an example, I've finally been able to delve into Stephen Levitt's Freakonomics, Yuval Harari's Sapiens, and Stephen Hawking's A Brief History of Time. It's honestly been extremely liberating and a huge breath of fresh air for my ever-curious mind. You can check it out right now by clicking the link in the description below to get a 7-day free trial. In addition, the first 100 people will get 25% off a full membership. So check it out.
Like many in the ancient world, the Roman year was filled with festivals. These celebrated all kinds of important events, but were aimed mostly at making sure the gods were kept happy. After all, there was nothing more important for the well-being of the individual and the state. Such holidays were known as dies feriales. There were many of these every month, each with their own specific traditions. Generally speaking, the more important festivals coincided with major events, like the change of seasons or the new year, with the relevant god or gods taking center stage. A short list of some of those festivals includes the Lupercalia in February, the Liberalia in March, the Bonadia and the Lemuria in May, the Ludi Apollinaris in July, the Herculean Victus in August, and the Saturnalia in December. While all of these certainly merit their own episode, today we'll be focusing on Rome's end-of-year festival that would later transform into our Christmas. As with most other Roman religious customs, Saturnalia traces its origins back to the Greeks. It is this Hellenistic civilization which influenced Roman mythology early in its development and would continue to do so over the centuries. The Roman god Saturn, for example, is roughly synonymous with the Greek god Kronos, both of whom are associated with rebirth, harvest, and heralding a new golden age. In Rome, the holiday of Saturnalia started out humbly as an agricultural festival set around the winter solstice in December, when the people would collect their last harvest of the year. As they concluded this work, they would mark the occasion by honoring Saturn. This would be done at the temple of the harvest god at the foot of the Capitoline Hill. Here, Rome's priests would gather at the head of the population, with the other upper classes wearing their best togas and the plebeians wearing their finest tunics. A parade of bulls, the largest of the year, would then be brought in and sacrificed. The event was carried out under the watchful eye of Saturn himself. The way this worked is the priests would actually bring with them a statue of the god bound in wool. As the ceremonies began, they would ritualistically unwrap the statue and place it on a couch. Symbolically, this represented the idea of rebirth, where Saturn would appear like a newborn child springing from the womb in the 10th month. Once upon his couch, the god would then be able to partake in the feasts which followed. For the remainder of the day, all forms of work and public business would be suspended. Over time, as Rome grew, the holiday would continue to evolve. The official ceremony we have just described apparently underwent a series of reforms around the 3rd century BC, when Greek practices were imported upon consultation with the Sibylline books. Additionally, the festival would now be pinned to December 17th, rather than arbitrarily following the final harvest. Because of the holiday's popularity, it was also incrementally expanded over time, from one feast day up to a total of 7. Let's now take a closer look at the full glory of this pagan Christmas. The days leading up to Saturnalia would have Rome abuzz. As a major public holiday, it was the duty of the aediles to oversee the official preparations. With their reputation on the line, they would have been hard at work planning on how to make this year's celebrations as memorable as possible. Part of this involved employing hundreds of laborers to transform Rome for the occasion by cleaning the streets, setting up decorations, and erecting temporary structures. This would be necessary to accommodate the huge swell in the city's population caused by celebrants flocking in from the countryside. After all, Rome was still a highly rural society with many small towns and farms dominating the land. Saturnalia, as a harvest festival, was a particularly strong magnet for farmers who were keen to give thanks to Saturn, as well as to be able to reunite with old friends and acquaintances in the big city. Thus, Rome's homes, inns, and taverns filled with growing excitement as families looked forward to the festivities. With the days slowly ticking away, people were sure to be rushing around to make final preparations and close out business before the holidays. Finally, the day would come. It was December 17th. Starting in the early hours of the morning, people across Rome would awake and begin to stream into the Forum, eager to secure the best spots and celebrate the time-honored tribute to Saturn. Once settled, they waited with bated breath. Soon, their patience would be rewarded by a low rumble that would begin to grow and grow until, in the distance, its source was revealed. A grand parade was making its way through the streets of Rome. At its head were the priests and senate, and behind them a seemingly endless line of bulls. This procession made its way past the throngs of onlookers until eventually coming to a stop before the Temple of Saturn. Here, the animals would then be sacrificed and a great feast prepared with the reclining statue of Saturn as its honorary guest. Surely the god would be most pleased by this dazzling display of piety. Rome's good fortune for the following year had been secured. Thus ended the official component of Saturnalia. All public business was stopped on this day and would remain closed for the duration of the festival. No law courts were conducted, all schools were closed, and even the mechanisms to declare war were shut down. This was a time for celebration, and the Romans were particularly good at that. The following free-flowing festivities were guided only by customs. But while unregulated, they did share the common theme of a world turned upside down where traditional roles and social norms were inverted. It seems that this may have gotten its origin as a nod to the idea of a return to Saturn's golden age, which had existed before rank and order, before slavery and property. Now was a time to make this Edenic existence a reality. The first sign of change were the holiday clothes. During the festival, people traded their bland togas for brightly colored garments, and everyone from emperor to slave wore the felt pileus cap, which traditionally signified one's status as a free man. The second sign of change was the new social order. Each family would select a princeps, or leader of Saturnalia, who was typically of lower status. This might be a child or servant. Slaves were now treated as equals, and might even be elevated to the point that their masters served them. Reportedly, slaves were exempt from punishment, and even allowed to insult their masters, within bounds of reason. This all came together at the grand public feast on the first day of Saturnalia, following the religious ceremony at the Temple of Saturn. The Aedals for the year would actually foot the bill and plan out the banquet, which meant that its appearance depended on who was responsible, and how much money they had. Most of the time, tables would be set up in the Forum, the only open space large enough to hold such a large population. The Aedals would coordinate with the hundreds of local bakeries and other food providers who worked overtime to build up a massive stockpile for the occasion. The meals were as extravagant as possible and became truly incredible with the rise of the cosmopolitan empire. Arriving at the feast, one would witness a truly impressive display. From the bakers came the best breads, tarts, spice cakes, pastries, and little Gaiuses, while from the merchants and farmers came produce of every description: plums, pears, apples, nuts, dates, and more. They would be incorporated into dishes, made into candied fruit, and eaten whole. In addition were all kinds of meats, and wines from every corner of the empire were set out to give the illusion of a truly unlimited river of drink. Even rare delicacies were served up to all, things that the upper classes ate but the poor couldn't afford, like stuffed dormice, sow wombs, as well as varieties of exotic fish and birds including lampreys, flamingos, and peacocks. This fantastical banquet of dreams was gorged upon by all of Rome. For hours everyone ate and drank to their heart's content. When the meal was finally winding down, the shouts of "Yo Saturnalia" would break out. They heralded that the greatest party of the year had only just begun. For 7 days, people partied in a carnival-like atmosphere akin to a New Orleans Mardi Gras. Everyone was encouraged to join in on the fun, and sleep was in short supply. However, there were of course your typical Christmas drenches. The philosopher Seneca apparently tried to convince a friend to replace the wild revelry with a quiet dinner, and Pliny the Younger actually had a soundproof suite built so that he could get work done throughout the week while his entire household partied. But peace and quiet were truly hard to come by. Here is a revealing quote from Libanius. "Night falls, but no one sleeps. The common people engage in songs, wild dancing, and mocking jest. They do this even in the commercial district, barging in, pounding on doors, shouting and mocking. Some people are angry with what they hear, but others consider it an occasion for laughter. No one present is so austere that he censures these goings-on. Even he who is too self-controlled to laugh breaks out laughing." Meanwhile, the public spaces teemed with activity. The Forum, for instance, drew huge crowds to see a range of itinerant performers, from jugglers to puppeteers and snake charmers. Otherwise illegal gambling tables were set up as well, and drew many participants. Sponsors might also pay for lavish displays of entertainment. In one instance, we hear of female gladiatrices, dwarfs, buxom Lydian girls, and performers who came in from Syria to Spain. Emperors too got in on the fun, and were not to be outdone. Nero was infamous for stealing the show by providing a truly impressive number of free prostitutes for the week. This was definitely a naughty Christmas, and would seem at odds with our own holiday. However, there were other traditions which will seem more familiar. One of these was the practice of gift-giving, which took place throughout the week. The poet Martial writes about individual, personalized gifts with small greeting cards to go with them, and even alludes to a secret Santa-style form of gift-giving that was popular. These ancient Roman presents could be anything: musical instruments, writing tablets, boxes of hobby supplies, beauty products, toothpicks, tableware, exercise equipment, weapons, or even a well-bred pig. Children generally got dolls, while close friends were given special wax candles that were lit to signal the advent of a golden age coming in the new year. Augustus himself loved the holiday, and gave lavish and gag gifts in equal measure. Quote, "On the Saturnalia, and at any other time when he took it into his head, he would sometimes give gifts of clothing, or gold and silver, sometimes all kinds of coins, including old pieces of the king's and foreign money, sometimes nothing, but haircloth, sponges, pokers, and tongs, and other such things under misleading names of double meaning. Sometimes the sheer volume of presents required for the holidays lowered their average quality. As Martial writes, quote,
Let everyone give his guest an appropriate gift. But they're all worthless garbage, you might say. Well, no one says they're not. No one would deny anything so obvious.
Another tradition with modern echoes was the practice of the kings of Saturnalia, who were crowned by lot. During their reign, they had to be obeyed, with the sole requirement that their edicts be dumb commands. For example, telling everyone in the street to stop what they were doing and dance, to give the flute girls piggyback rides around the block, or to dunk an innocent bystander in a nearby fountain. However, things could go too far if the liberties of the holiday crossed the line into reality. For example, we are told that when Julius Caesar was celebrating Saturnalia after having won his civil war, his lieutenant Mark Antony made a big show of offering the crown of Saturnalia to Caesar. This was met by the fury of a booing crowd. The role was supposed to be a joke, making a mockery of the powerful. To give the joke crowned to an actual dictator of Rome was not fun, and struck a little too close to home. Clearly, there were still some lines that should not be crossed. At long last, the festival of Saturnalia came to an end. The kings were symbolically dethroned to mark the occasion, and everyone had their last hurrah, with shouts of Yo Saturnalia. Perhaps their throbbing heads would look forward to the days of calm which followed, but it wouldn't be long before they began to dream of next year's festivities. As one might imagine, the tremendous popularity of Saturnalia ensured that it lived on for centuries. This trend was further propelled because, unlike many other Roman festivals, the Saturnalia was not tied to the city of Rome itself, and therefore gained traction across the empire. After all, winter celebrations are a universal tradition which transcend borders, especially when they involve the winning combination of feasting, drinking, and partying. Such was the popularity of Saturnalia that when Christianity rose to dominance in the 4th century AD, the pagan holiday would be co-opted rather than cancelled. It appears that this is one of the reasons Christmas was set just a few days after Saturnalia on the 25th instead of the 17th, and maintained many of the same customs. This hybridized holiday was a far rowdier event in these early days, and while the mass street partying has generally been toned down over the ages, many things are still held as a tradition. For years, the Feast of Fools was an incredibly popular festival until it was banned by the church in the 15th and 16th centuries. Wax candles are still a central part of a traditional Christmas with Advent candles, and freedmen's caps have generally been replaced by Santa hats, or if you live in Britain, paper caps and crowns. And of course, the tradition of giving gifts to family and friends is still running strong. Thanks for watching this episode. What do you think of the pagan origins of Christmas? Would you prefer a more Saturnalia festival, or are you more fond of the family-friendly version? Feel free to leave any questions in the comments below, and make sure to like and subscribe for more content. A very special thanks to the patrons for funding the channel, and to the researchers, writers, and artists who made this episode possible. Yo, Saturnalia!
Hallelujah, hallelujah. Give me a Yahoo if I can be heard. Give me a Yahoo if I can be heard. All praises, all glory, all honor to the Most High. Give me a Yahoo if I can be heard, family. Good to see y'all in the building. Bless up, bless up, bless up. Give me a Yahoo if I can be heard. Make sure we all good. I can be heard. All right. All right, we all good. I mean, how much more proof do you need? Oh, yeah. How much more proof do you need? Is the question. I can be heard. It's a blurry a little taste. Let me make sure I get this wiped off for y'all. Hold on. Bang, bang, bang. All right, we can be heard. Yeah, but how much more proof do you need? How much more proof do you need? It should be just as easy to go into the Bible or any type of history and prove your position when it comes to like these so-called holidays, especially the one you're dealing with now. It shouldn't take all that. You should be able to, as easy as we can provide videos and type in the origins of this and the origins of that, and as easy as we can go into the scriptures and show you scriptures that come against it as well. If you are still pro observing what we call Christmas today, then it should be just that easy for you to do the same thing. All right. Just that easy. All right. All praise and glory now to the Most High. Good to see y'all in the building. Bless up. Hold on one second. I got a love, brother. What y'all think about what I just showed y'all, though? What y'all think? What y'all think? From Nimrod, all the way down, we tracked it from Nimrod, ancient Babylon, with the Tower of Babel and all that, all the way up to Rome. All the way up to Rome, all the way up to what you're doing today. Same customs, same reveling, same everything. So what y'all think about that? And are you standing strong is the question. Yeah. Email. You just was in her, player. What you mean? Here, I'm finna send you the invite again. Just click on the link, come on in here. That's all you gotta do, big bro. I mean, invite you, just come on in. Matter of fact, this is what I'm gonna do. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put the link in the chat. Whoever wanna come on, click that deal. How about that? Maybe some of y'all want to come on and express to your people how y'all feeling today. Bless up. I'm gonna put it in the chat. How about that? All right, here go the link right here. All right. Stream your link to come on in. Y'all want to come on in? All are welcome. Come on in and express yourself. Let everybody know what you're feeling today. Nehemiah, I see you in the back. Let me go ahead and add you to the chat, brother. Oh, good. Nee, what's the word, my beloved brother? Bless up. Talk to me. Oh, okay, your mic's still muted, big bro. What's good?
Ha, son. Shalom is down.
Shalom. How you be?
It shouldn't be. You can't hear me?
I can hear you, but you need to turn your background down.
You can't hear me?
I can hear you. You good.
Okay. Yeah, man, I was sitting here talking about, I'm actually having a discussion with this guy on Facebook right now. I mean, this dude here. People are headlong strong in this delusion. But like I said, it goes from Nimrod to Baal to Osiris to Odin to St. Nicholas to Santa Claus all the way up to Santa Claus. I had just posted that in Facebook. The evolution of Santa Claus.
Yeah.
From Nimrod to Baal, Baal to Osiris, Osiris to Odin, Odin to St. Nicholas, St. Nicholas to Santa Claus to Santa Claus. Santa Claus. S-I-N-T-E-R. Santa Claus.
Really?
That was the one before the actual Santa Claus.
Man, that's big dirt, boy.
Hold on, let me go ahead.
All good. I got this what I want to share with the family too. Before we hit some scriptures, I want to share another book that I didn't have for over 15 years. When we first started coming into this information, to me, it was mind blowing that all this information was out there, and that like nobody around was even attempting to even look at it. And this is, way before. The internet was around then, but not as many people were quick to Google or AOL or Yahoo, or not that many people was quick to do that. A lot of this information, and that's why I got to give a salute to the brothers that has been bringing this information out way before we came around, because the diligence to go into the library and search through records and search through pages and pages of books, man. Some books, 1,000 pages. You understand? To find this information, man, takes real diligence, real discipline. So any brothers and sisters that's been around way before us, and we've been around close to 2 decades, you understand? But anybody that's been around longer than us doing this, man, I got to salute you, because that means you've been around way before the internet caught steam. Way before anybody was dealing with search engines and Googles and AOLs. And you remember the AOL, Nehemiah? You got it.
Boy, used to pop up in them discs.
Remember the dial-up? Remember the dial-up and all that? So even if you was dealing with this information and standing on it back then for a long time, man, I salute. In this era, there's really no excuse at all. And what I want to do is share with y'all before we get into some actual scriptures. I want to share with y'all another book that I ran across close about 15 years ago. You know what I mean? Blew my mind. You know what I mean? Our brother TCA. Hold on. What you say, bro? Our brother TCA talking about not eating meat now. They waking up to the death meat. That's what's up, man. All praise to the Most High, bro. That brother, he got a brother over here. I watch his channel too. I just ain't watched it in a while. And that brother bring out a lot of content. I think that's our brother from across the river, ain't it?
Yeah, it's like you from England.
Cheerio, mate. Yeah. Salute to the brother, man. He bring out a lot of solid information, a lot of good information, especially that are challenging. You know what I mean? And
I love his content. He's a good content creator as well. He brings a lot of.
I ain't watched him in a minute, but I heard he just dropped something about the Yardbirds. The Yardbirds, mate. Hit me on the telly.
Good day, Yardbird.
They call him tell him the phone, the telly. Hit me on the telly. Yeah. So then y'all talking to that brother, tell him I said shalom, man. I salute the work he be doing. All praises. That's what's up. And you know, if you got any questions or need some extra ammo, you know your bros is always here. Clip up. All praise. But look, let me show y'all this real quick. Nehemiah, you got something else you want to say, bro?
No, that's it, bro. Go ahead, let her rip.
All right, so I'm going to show this book, Nehemiah. You know what this is.
Is it fossilized?
You know what this is, Nehemiah, man.
Oh.
Hold on, son.
Operation Wake Up Jacob book. What you got in your hand, bro?
You know. But you know what this one is about. Provoking Thoughts podcast reactions. Y'all talking about thoughts. Camera. Yeah. We just shouted him out a little text, man. Tell the brother we said salute. Right, let me share this with y'all. I'm going to drop the PDF in the chat as well. All right. Bang, bang, bang. Nehemiah, you done dropped out the chat again, huh, big homie? It's all good. All right, so look, let me scroll that down a little bit. Let y'all see this. Some of y'all know about this book, some of y'all don't, but this is called the Fossilized Customs. All right, 242-page book, Fossilized Customs, the Pagan Origins of Popular Customs. This is the 9th edition. I had like the 4th edition when it first came out, I think. All right, 9th edition, and it's by Lou White. It's by a Gentile named Lou White. Some great information in there. All right, so if y'all get a chance, go ahead and get that. Make sure y'all get that. Just type in Fossilized Customs PDF. You should be able to find yourself a link. All right. Yeah, this deal go hard. Need you back, my brother? Yeah, your mic's still muted.
How about that?
Yeah, there you go. Nehemiah just dropped it in the link to y'all, Fossilized Customs.
And it's directly to the Christmas chapter.
Yeah, the Christmas chapter right there. Imai Robbie Dobson said, I read this about 10 years ago and it turned my life around. Absolutely. It's some jaw-breaking information in there. I'm like, dang. So if y'all haven't read this, or if you don't have it, go ahead and grab it. Nehemiah just dropped the actual link. It goes right to the Christmas. Brother want to know what the topic is. The topic is the vanity of heathen tradition. The vanity of heathen traditions or customs. One of those heathen traditions or customs is what everybody is doing today, what the world is doing today, called Christmas, around the winter solstice. Right,
or if that word is not comfortable, call it tradition, right? Because I know we ain't winning the script yet. I'm pretty sure Matt gonna hit it. But just for this, I give it a spoiler, right? There go what the Messiah said about these traditions. But he answered and said to him, why do you transgress the commandments of God by your traditions? Because by observing these traditions, whoever you yield your members to is who you worship, right? And if you can't sit down here and find it where Christ will say it's okay, or God commanded us to celebrate the birth of Christ on December the 25th, or find out where Christ or the Most High, any prophets, sat and aligned themselves up with sitting and keeping paganistic worship. We can take you to Numbers 25 and see where your heads was cut off, trying to go join and go along to get along. But the Messiah himself, flat out, you make void. Why? Because you are giving idol worship over the idols and other deities. It just ain't no way around it. It's just what you're doing.
Absolutely. And that's clear as day. And in most y'all Bibles, that should be red letter. Right? But he answered and said unto them, why do you also transgress the commandment of God or the Most High by your tradition? Meaning what you are doing, what you're imposing on the people and what's running on automatic, whether it's under a Roman vibration or a Greek vibration, hell, or a Babylonian vibration or a Persian vibration or a Chinese vibration or an African vibration. If it's not of the Most High, then it's a tradition of man that's inspired by the wrong spirit. You understand? It's attached to idolatry. So Messiah himself, most of our people claim they follow him. There it is right there. There it is right there. All right. This is really like a part 2. I did a part 1 last night going into a gang of scriptures. Now it's about the commandments of the Most High, not the traditions of men. All right. All praise glory. Now let's get back to this. I want to show y'all this before we actually get into some scripture. All right. This research is out here. We ain't making none of this stuff up. None of it. All right. So here's the table of contents. All right. Fossilized Customs contents. Forward. Doctrines of demons. How they invented your world. Easter. Ishtar, Asherah, the great prostitute, mother of harlots. The Sinai autograph, the creator's signature. Seal, memorial name. What is worship? Obedience, evidence of our love. Legalism or illegalism. That's a good, I like that topic right there, that title. One will get you freed, the other fried. One will get you freed, the other fried. All right.
Southern fried Israelites.
We got another one right here. It goes into the rosaries. The rosaries in Islam, praying to Mary. All right. Now here go Christmas on page 29. Christmas, Santa, Nimrod, Asherah, trees, and the solstice. All right. I want to also read into the AD and BC because that's another thing with the calendars, right? And the time and everything, and everybody believing they keeping dates. Look at this. AD and BC, believe it or not, y'all, was invented in the year 525 by an angry Catholic monk. How many of y'all knew that? We got so-and-so AD. Remember, Daniel said the fourth beast would think to change times and laws. The fourth beast is the Roman Empire. All right. I also want to get into Nimrod stuff. Dead guy rules world from grave. And also, I want to get into the Asherah connection to Christmas, the tree and wreath secrets. Uh-oh, Nehemiah. Uh-oh, Nehemiah.
The womb and phallus.
Oh, wait, if you really knew what you had up in that house, boy.
Boy, walking around with wounds on your door.
Hang low, mistletoe.
Waiting to get done bad, yo.
Hold on. Got Reeves on your front door?
2 of them. But you hate polygyny. Well, you got 2 vajajas on your door.
Boy, you got Reeves on your door still, boy? Oh, man.
Hey, look, Baal and Asherah worship is real, ain't it, man?
Man, oh, man. Man, oh, man. The sorcery is real. And there's many other things in here. The Roman beasts, Mithraism, Roman church timeline, the Illuminati, cancer, how to fight your mutant self, viruses, all type of stuff, y'all. So we're going to go down to page 28, and we're going to read down to page 38. All right? So let me run on down here real quick. And Nehemiah, let's eat.
Well, you know, another thing, too, man, like, you know, just like there was the evolution of Santa Claus, the same thing with his elves. It looked from Azrael to Fallen, to Baphomet, to Pan, to Krampus. People forget all about Krampus.
Oh, Krampus.
Yeah, and look, Black Pete, right?
Black Pete, yep.
And then the modern elf. All while you got a white man, check out the psychology, all while you got a white man, right, running a slave factory of little people, building toys that he gonna magically drop off around the world. Hey, boy, it's some deep sorcery going on there, boy. All with the mindset to make you think that the white man comes bearing gifts. Boy, but what do the scriptures say about that?
Real talk. All right, so this is page 29 right here. All right. Page 29 of Fossilized Customs. All All right, the pagan origins of popular customs. And at the top of it, notice what it says. It says Christmas is a very old observance given a new name. All right. And if you look right up under that, it says, is he Nimrod? Talking about Santa Claus. Is he Nimrod? Sorcery. Mary Mithras. Wow. Y'all know Mithras is a whole nother god, right? Wow. Now he got a birthday cake with a candle and say, let's put Satan back in the Mithras and keep Yahshua or Yahusha out of it. For y'all that's new, Yahushua is the Hebrew name for Jesus the Christ that you read in the Bible. The man you read about in the Bible, Jesus Christ, actually was a Hebrew. All right, and he followed the laws of his father. You dig? And he was against the truth about this. Nehemiah, I was talking about this last night. If he was against the traditions that his nation was doing, you know good and well he against the traditions that the heathens are doing.
Kind of make all the sense in the world, don't it?
Like, why would he be against the traditions that the sellout elders and them who align themselves with Rome were doing, but not be against Halloween, and not be against Christmas, and not be against bunnies and Easter eggs? And we all know bunnies don't lay no eggs, right, Nehemiah?
Man, I ain't seen a bunny egg sandwich yet, boy.
Boy, you ain't never ate. Have you ever ate a scrambled bunny egg for breakfast, boy?
No, that boy. Didn't have it with my pancakes and plant-based bacon either.
What about fried hard bunny egg?
Oh, not even a sunny side up?
Oh, good. What about an omelet, good?
Oh, dang, man. What about a poached bunny egg?
Hold on, man. Hold on. All right, so let's look at this, right? Nehemiah, man. This stuff right here, while reading through some of this today, just refreshing, like, wow. All right. Christmas, Christ Mass, breaking the truth barrier. All right, y'all, I'm over to the left. Over this way on that side. I was saying, a Christian minister once responded to a letter I sent him admitting that there are many traditions within Christianity that were originally pagan. Wow. Wow. Did he just say that?
He said that.
He said that the minister admitted to him that there are many traditions within Christianity that were originally pagan, but he said they are only in the background now. Yes, they certainly are. Buried under new meanings, reinterpreted to obscure them. The Arabs did it with their Kaaba, and we can see that, but when it's something we want to do, we go into denial. This minister also said that since we don't intend to be worshiping the sun now, that it's all okay. When a person chooses to believe in something, their heart follows after it, even if it's a lie or a fantasy. It matters not to them. Proverbs 19:2 says, it is not good to have zeal without knowledge, nor be hasty and miss the way. A man's own folly ruins his life, yet his heart rages against the Most High. Y'all see this? Proverbs 19:2. It is not good to have zeal without knowledge, nor be hasty and miss the way. A man's own folly ruins his life, yet his heart rages against the Most High. Wow. Wow. Y'all write that down. Proverbs 19:2. Many believe that Christmas is in the writings with the stable, manger, star, Bethlehem, shepherds, and magi visitation. Also, everyone is programmed to celebrate birthdays, so why not celebrate the birth of the most important person ever born? Please bear with this carefully. Birthdays. Nehemiah, you finna like this one. Birthdays. The popular celebration of one's annual birthday is acknowledged to be by all authorities on ancient customs a pagan ritual from Babylon. Really? The Babylonians served the sun, moon, planets, and constellations, a Gentile practice condemned by the Most High. Do not learn the ways of the Gentiles and do not be alarmed by the signs of Shamaim, heavens, although the Gentiles were alarmed by them. Birthday, Jeremiah 10, Yirmiyahu 10. Birthdays are mentioned in the Tanakh, which is the Old Testament, a total of 3 times. When Yosef or Joseph was in prison in Egypt, Genesis 40 and 20, Job, chapter 1, verse 4 and 5, and Herod's birthday when YAH'KI, John the Baptist, was beheaded in Matthew 14 and 6. In the situation described in Job, chapter 1, Job sacrificed an animal because he was aware of his children's idolatry, for which they all died. When the house they celebrated in collapsed on them in a violent windstorm. His sons used to go and hold a feast in the house of each one on his day. The NIV eliminated this phrase, but you can clearly see it in the KJV and others. The baker was hanged on the Pharaoh's birthday, and the Levite YAH'KI, the Messiah's cousin, was beheaded on Herod's birthday. So what that's basically saying, y'all, everywhere where birthdays are mentioned in the Bible, there is a travesty. There is something that is very outrageous that happens. Something damaging, something horrible and horrific. That's what he's getting at. Also, he didn't bring up the Apocrypha. He didn't bring up the Apocrypha where the Greek king Antiochus Epiphanes held a birthday every month and used to destroy it behind that. So everywhere what the author is getting at is this: everywhere where a birthday is celebrated in the Bible that you have, something horrific happens. If you understand that so far, give us a Yahoo up in the chat. Y'all know we ain't trying to. All right. No, we ain't trying to lose nobody. Nehemiah, you got something to say?
No, bro. Hey, look, I've been telling people about birthdays for the longest. I've been telling bros about the whole thing. You don't see that what I was talking about a second ago about dealing with the womb and dealing with the phallus. You've been dealing with Baal and the Queen of Heaven, Shera. And it's funny, it mentions this in the other column. I saw it when you first pulled this up.
Yeah, we're about to get into it.
Yeah, I'm just saying, bro. Hey, look, so again, this ain't nothing that Nehemiah or Malachi making up. This is documented history.
Absolutely. Easy to look up too, y'all. Just look up the origins of birthdays. What I do is look it up, man. Like I've been telling people, like, there ain't no excuse anymore for us.
It ain't. Even Josephus talk about birthdays.
Exactly. All right, look at this. The birthday ritual. The ritual of the cake, candles. And y'all, he's going into the birthday ritual because a lot of our people assume this is the Messiah's birthday.
That's exactly what they try to disguise.
This is a segue into the Christmas thing. Because of many people, when you put on them about Santa and the elves and the reindeer, oh, I know that ain't real. This is all about Jesus. Well, you saying Jesus was born and this is why you give gifts. So that gave a segue into, okay, well, let's talk about birthdays first. Then we're going to get into the symbolism of this Christmas, all right? All right, the birthday ritual. The ritual of the cake, candles, wish, and, hold on, let me get on over here for y'all. Wish and presents serve to give thanks to sky luminaries for allowing the birthday celebrant to reach the annual cycle of their birth. The cake was baked for the Queen of Heaven, Asherah.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Go ahead.
Mine ain't too off, is it?
It was decorated in monogram with the celebrant's name. The candles symbolize the sacred fire. Carefully numbered for each annual cycle completed, right? Because how old you are is how many candles is on the cake. Correct? The prayer chant and all the ritual procedures are carefully preserved, and it is a religious occasion. Yeah. Now look at this. Look at this. Witches regard the day of one's birth the most significant event in a person's life. Astrologers base everything on it. If the celebrant can blow out all the candles, then a secret wish made to a genie or Juno, if the person is female, will be granted. That's where you turn the lights off, make a wish. Let's not act like we ain't grow up doing this. Turn the lights out, make a wish, then blow the candles out. Y'all, all that's paganism. None of this has to do anywhere with the power or the mighty one of the Bible. Nor the prophets, nor the disciples, nor the Messiah. You've been hoodwinked.
Bamboozled.
Led astray.
Run amok.
You didn't land on Plymouth Rock.
Pepe Rock landed on you.
All right, look at it. The birthday itself was a time of great superstition to a pagan, so they were surrounded by their friends and relatives for protection. In the Greek culture, it was believed that personal abilities and talents were bestowed on an individual by being inhabited, possessed by one or more demons called muses. Real talk, huh? A person's genius was the gift of the genie, thought of as the overseer of the muses. Genius, huh? Boy's a genius. Gift of the genie. The muses were 9 female deities. Wow. Believed to endow skills in speech, art, science, memory, scholastics, agility, and music. A word derived from the muses. A word derived. Man, this is crazy. A word derived from the muses, 9 daughters of Zeus and Menimosine. The names of these 9 muses were Cleo, Euterpe, Thalia, Melpomene, Terpsichore, Iradio, Polymenia, Urania, and Callio. Oh, not the Callio Project, cuz.
Oh no, cuz they about Cali up in here.
Not where Master P and them from, cuz. You may recognize some of their names as having become part of our language, like Uranus. They are the Greek deities of the arts and sciences, giving us the word museum, a showplace of art and science. The fairy tale, the fairy tale Sleeping Beauty directly refers to the gifts and benefits bestowed by the muses, since the muses were known as fairies in the Germanic and the Gaelic cultures. The three fates were a triad of female deities, also known as the 3 graces or 3 charities. In the Greek and Roman mythologies, here we go. Here we go, Nehemiah. In the Greek and Roman mythologies, they ruled the lives of men and determined the length of a person's life. Clotho spun the thread of life. Laceus determined its length, and Atropos cut it. This is the type of idolatry that Shaul, or aka Paul, was correcting the Galatians and the Ephesians. Okay, let's go on down. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Make sure we get to it. I got you. Trust me. Now let's get to the next one. Top of page 30. For observing, since they were falling back into these patterns instead of exposing them and excluding them from their lives. He told them that they had lived as pagans and been in darkness, but now were called out from such ignorance. This programming and these practices became absorbed, and people are either ignorant of them or too weak to break free of them. Their spiritual leaders aren't going to tell them because they are hypnotized as well. Wow. The reason the writings don't make much sense to people is because they are not aware and don't recognize their own behavior as being pagan. Everything has been pushed into the background. So well, their eyes are blinded to the real truth. Astrology and ancient Babylonian process of worship was used to determine the sign under which a person was born. Everything that happened to a person was determined by the stars. The position of the sun, moon, planets, and stars at the time of one's birth produced a personal horoscope used since ancient times by witches, palmistry experts, fortune tellers, diviners, diviners, sorcerers, tarot card readers, magicians, soothsayers, and others who dabble in the occult. The word occult means hidden. Such divination is idolatry. Do not practice divination or sorcery, and do not turn to mediums or seek out spiritists. Leviticus 19, Deuteronomy 18 and 14, Exodus 22 and 18 says we are not to allow a sorceress to live. Let your astrologers come forward, those stargazers who make predictions moon by moon. Let them save you from what is coming upon you. Isaiah 47 and 13. These practices from Babylon are tightly woven into our cultural tapestry. Nehemiah, talk to me. When the people of the Most High mixed Gentile religious practices into their lives, he brought the punishments forth that he had promised would come upon them at Deuteronomy 28. Uh-oh, sound like Lou White understand. Sound like Lou White understand, huh? Deuteronomy 28, Deuteronomy 30, the severe punishments for idolatry documented in the Tanakh or to serve as examples for us. 1 Corinthians 10, 5 through 7. This calls for patient endurance on the part of the saints who obey the Most High's commandments and remain faithful to the Messiah. Revelation 14 and 12. The sovereign or king Messiah commands us from the skies to come out of Babylon. Come out of her, my people. Come out of her, my people. So that you will not share in her sins, so that you will not receive any of her plagues, for her sins are piled up to Shamayim, the heavens. And the Most High has remembered her crimes. Revelation 18, 4 through 5. The great dragnet, look at this. The great dragnet is the calendar we use based on the solstices. Witches have used this since Babylon. Satan by stealth has his planet worshiping him by diversion. By the process you are about to see explained in the following pages, it will be evident that to you that everything is designed. Although in the background, Although in the background, according to the plans of Satan, he is behind the sun worship customs. How you have fallen from heaven, O morning star, son of the dawn. You have been cast down to the earth, you who once laid low the nations. You said in your heart, I will ascend to heaven. I will raise my throne above the stars of Elohim. I will sit enthroned on the mount of the assembly, on the utmost heights of the sacred mountain. I will ascend above the tops of the clouds. I will make myself like the Most High. That's Isaiah 14, 12 through 14. Satan will be exposed to the source of sun worship. He is moon worship too. All right. If it is in the background, then it's still there. All right. Now back to Christmas. Christmas is really two words: Christos, Greek, and Misa, Latin. Christos means anointed, and Misa means depart. Both of these words were inherited from pagans. The Mashiach, or the Messiah, was never called Christ in his own tongue. Facts. That's a fact. That is a fact. A lot of people don't want to accept that, but that's the truth. All right. Mashiach was never called Christ in his own tongue. The anointing in the pagan mind was performed by a physician who carried a wooden box with various ointments and jars. The medical symbol RX is derived from two Greek letters, Rho and Chi. These are the first two letters in the Greek word Christos, spelled that in Greek, anointed. The sick were anointed for healing, and the letters Rho and Chi were used as a logo for the physician's trade, hung up as a sign designed to appear as an eye in the sky. It was the Egyptian eye of Horus. Wow. Back to Egypt, huh? It was the Egyptian eye of Horus, which the Greeks had adopted. Medical students learned this history of the RX symbol in their study of pharmaceuticals, which means sorcery. At this point, let me remark that the Mashiach, or the Messiah, never authorized or invented a new religion. Facts. Facts. All right. But rather was upset because of changes already made. But rather was upset because of changes already made. Meaning at his time, they weren't teaching the true, authentic truth that the Most High intended from the beginning. Or he would have never been against the customs and the traditions or the changes that had been made by the scribes and the elders. I wonder if Lou understand that. Was upset because of changes already made. He said, repent, turn back. This is what makes all this so bizarre. The word Christos. The word Christos is cognate with the Hindi Krista, the sun deity of Hindus. It means shining one. The Latin word Lucifer means light bringer. Chris means shining. The Hebrew Mashiach means anointed one, but refers to him as sovereign or king. As Samuel anointed Dawid or David, the lamp oil symbolized the power of light or wisdom of Torah. poured on the head of reasoning organ, so that the king would rule wisely in the commandments. The Torah is a lamp and a light, but you can still see the way the original word was avoided. And Satan's shining was adopted instead. The word Christmas means anointed deport and is seen abbreviated XMAS. The X stands for Christos. Let me just say this. If men originated any word or ro or chi, first two letters in Christos. Hold on, y'all. Roll it down and roll back. Got you. If men invented any word or idea, then be suspicious of it. It's nothing sacred. The word sacred is Latin, sacra, and is used in place of the Hebrew word kodesh, meaning set apart. Sacra itself traces back to an Indo-European language, Sanskrit, and turns out to be a Vedic form of an India sun deity, Indra. It came in the Old Persian in one of its 12 forms is Sacra. Another form is Mitra, or the Persian Roman Mithras. Okay, then is nothing Kodesh. Yes, the name of the Most High is set apart. Yahuwah, Yahweh, Yahweh is set apart. Some say Yahweh, Yahuwah. You hear all these different names, but Yod-Heh-Wav-Heh. Name Yod-Heh-Wav-Heh is set apart, which is in the name of Yahusha, Yahushua, Yahshua. The word or Torah commandments is Kodesh. The Temple Mount, which he calls the set apart mountain forever, where he placed his name, is Kodesh. And finally, his people, called Yahudim, who bear his name, are Kodesh. Pretty much everything else is rock, dirt, metal, water, air, and such. The day we call Shabbat is set apart in time as a memorial of creation, as in the Torah. The teachers of Torah are a solid rock on which to build, because they will never change, nor can any man bend them. They were made straight by the Most High. All right, let's get to this. Let's get to this. Misa, Latin for the part, was the last word spoken in the Catholic Mass, and so the word for the liturgical procedure seems to be from that. It was tacked on to the word Christ, because the Mass ritual on December the 25th was called Christ's Mass. But even the Mass existed before Catholicism. It was what the pagan priests of Mithraism and Mandaeanism called their Mass of the Dead, which was ghastly sacramental ritual of animal and human sacrifice on an indoor altar, with the pagan worshipers assembled in 2 rows of benches for the center aisle. All right, the pagan priests. The pagan priest will be at the one end of the room, mumbling obscurely, leading the services to Mithras at the spring equinox. New initiates into the mysteries of the cult were baptized, sprinkled in blood, under a bull being hacked to death. Dang. This was the time which the equator's orbit crossed the celestial equator. These sun worshippers interpreted this as Mithras slaying the bull. The sun had crossed over the celestial equator, overcoming the bull, which they called the constellation of Taurus. Every mass. Every mass is truly a black mass. The pagan mind mixed this up with the Passover Seder, known as the Last Supper. And poof, the magic became our Sunday morning supper. You have just broken the truth barrier, as I call it. Wow. Look at this. The word abracadabra was used during Mithraic mystery mass, when they transubstantiated a sun-shaped disc of bread into the sun and ate it. You can find this out by digging it up in a library or the internet. The Catholic priest is believed to be endowed with the power to transubstantiate any bread into Yahshua simply by saying the words. Hold on. Hocus corpus meum. This is my body. This produced the phrase hocus pocus. Wow. a euphemism for any type of sleight of hand. The Medians also had 7 sacraments, among which were holy matrimony, the Eucharist, sun disk, bread, wafer, confession, holy orders, and the Mass of the dead itself. They were sun worshippers from which a church father, Augustine, had come from. There was never an indoor altar in the ceremonial law of Yahweh, and now there is no need for any altar. Our rabbi had to die but once, and he said it is finished. The Roman Catholic Church hasn't gotten the message. Catholicism calls the Mass a bloodless sacrifice, offering the miraculous transformed bread into the body of Yahshua to the Father over and over. But Hebrews 9:22 says, without the shedding of blood, there is no forgiveness. At Hebrews 9:28, it says, Mashiach was sacrificed once to take away the sins of many people. See also Hebrews 10 and 12. He cannot be sacrificed over again. There was no such term as Christmas until the 9th century. Wow. Wow. We read that yesterday, y'all. 1038? That's wild. There was no such term as Christmas until the 9th century. Going back to the 6th century, there was a time when our years were not even reckoned as we think of them today. Imagine it is the year 525 CE. No one at that time knew it was 525, though. Here's why. There was a real man named Dionysius Exiguus. Mr. Exiguus was a pretty pagan guy, but he didn't know it. He was a monk and lived in part of the world called Scythia, an ancient region of Asia, north of the Black Sea. Remember, monks are unknown to the writings, as are nuns, popes, and cardinals. But Mr. Exiguus had no idea he was toiling as a monk for absolutely no reason at all, other than ignorance. During his time and forever, 1,000 years after him, the city of Rome was venerated above every other place on earth, even Jerusalem. The greatest pilgrimage a person could make was to the city of Rome. Finally, the opportunity came for Mr. Exiguus to make his journey to the city of his dreams. Upon arriving, he witnessed things that disgusted his devout sensibilities. The people were drunken, orgies were in full swing, ivy, ribbons, wreaths, garbage, and madness seemed to be everywhere. He was exasperated at the spectacle. What did he witness? He saw the authentic, let me go ahead and let y'all see this. He saw the authentic, raw, and abominable pagan festival of the winter solstice, Saturnalia. That's where you get Christmas from, y'all. Saturnalia, also called Paganalia, the nativity of the sun. The ivy was considered the sacred plant of, hold on, y'all. Hold on. Let's look at this wreath real quick. Hebrews right here with wreaths on their front door. Womb wreath, nativity symbol. Fertility symbols decorated. True about this, y'all. The wreath is a fertility symbol. I mean, it has to do with sex. I wonder what symbol that is. I wonder what sex organ that represents. Fertility symbols decorated temples and homes of pagans. These wreaths did. During Saturnalia, believers began to use them to divert attention and blend in, but it is condemned by the Most High. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. You running around here with wreaths all on your door. Conscious Israelites. You wanted the history where it is right here. Only thing is, will you let that pride go and take it down? But it's too much like right, ain't it? Too much like right. You got to get rid of that bullheaded spirit, that pride. I'm going to do it anyway. Let that go. Especially when you know everybody, it's a stumbling block to everybody. Especially when you know it's a stumbling block. We pull up on your block and there's no difference between your house and everybody's house on the block, and you a devout Hebrew. On your front door are wreaths. Come on, y'all. Got to stop that.
But it was a 2 count, wasn't it? Wasn't it a 2 count?
Yeah, double up.
Double up.
Double up. And you just gonna let pride destroy you? Stop it, man. Let that go. You so much better than that. You so much better than that. We got to get past that spirit, Israel. You got to fight that spirit to be rebellious. Fight that. That ain't gonna get you nowhere but in bad graces with the Most High. Or my bad terms. Stop that. Womb reef nativity symbol, fertility symbols, decorated temples, and homes of pagans during Saturnalia. Believers began to use them. Look at this. To divert attention and blend in. That's your problem right there. You want to blend in. You want to blend in. You want to be accepted by everybody. That's not what this is about, man. That's not what this is about. This is about standing up for the truth. Standing up for the Most High. After all, the Most High asked you that in the book of Psalms. Who gonna stand up for me against the evildoers? Let that be your testimony, Israel. Brothers and sisters of the faith, let that be your testimony. Now, I stood up against the evildoers. I took a stand against wickedness. Let that be your testimony. There you go, going along to get along, trying to be like everybody else. Come on, man, stop that. All right, but it is condemned by the Most High. The ivy was considered the sacred plant of, hold on, Nehemiah, we rolling now. The sacred plant of Saturn. So this custom has become an important feature of the nativity all over the earth. It was an ancient belief that the winter sun was slowly dying because it was seen rising further and further to the south each morning. Solstice means sun stop. By December 25th, the ancient world's solstice, it could be recognized as beginning to return northward and was said to be reborn. It marked the time for a celebration that lasted for days. Carved idols were exchanged, dolls. People hung wreaths on their doors. Look at this. People hung wreaths on their doors or wore them around their necks. An echo of the symbol of Nimrod, the branch of a tree, twisted into a circle symbolic of the shape of the sun and the annual cycle. Hawaiians use a lie, a circle of brightly colored flowers, as a sacred religious emblem of protection and friendship. This rebirth of the sun came 9 months.
Shalom.
A gestation cycle after Easter, when the earth mother was impregnated by the sun at the crossing of the vernal equinox.
Doing class and dealing with
bruh, mute your mic. Mute your mic, Nee.
Oh, my fault.
When the earth was impregnated by the sun at the crossing of the vernal equinox, when Mithras the sun slayed the bull, the constellation of Taurus, and the sun moved into the next constellation, bringing on warmer weather. If all of this sounds complicated and wild, that's why it was called the sacred mysteries. The writings call it folly. Folly is the religion of fools. And if what they were doing was foolishness, falsehood, lies, and of no profit, then the writings explain why people will say, to you the nations will come from the ends of the earth, and say our fathers have inherited nothing but falsehood, futility, and things of no profit. We have made a lie our refuge and falsehood our hiding place. Jeremiah 16:19, Isaiah 28:15. This is why what you are reading will cause what the prophet says. The understanding of this message will bring sheer terror. The world which the writings speak of, which are to be set apart, Kodesh, from, is the broad road of tradition. You are called to be set apart and stand out from this, y'all. You're supposed to be sticking out like a sore thumb during this time of year. You're supposed to be standing against the broad road of tradition. The broad road of tradition we see everywhere based on folly. We are called out of the ignorance and repent of observing Easter, birthdays, Christmas, Halloween, Sunday, the Nimrod base year cycle, and so on. But we don't show hatred for people who are still trapped in them, but love. Nimrod, Constantine, Exegus, and many others rule the world from the grave when practices they established are still observed by people today. Look at that, y'all. Oh, wait. We cooking now, Nehemiah. Talk to me. Was you still on the phone, big homie?
Yeah, it's still on the phone. But I mean, look, you're on point, bro. This is all meat right here. And if anything you ain't saying or anybody not saying, we cannot get around that it's about Saturnalia. That is the original origin of what you call today modern Christmas. Even an old church father telling you that, yes, Christianity has pagan roots. I'm sorry, it's the truth. That should be the first thing a lot of us got when we came out of the Christian church. That's Hebrew, not 101. That's the prelude to the basic course. This is Israelite 001. You realize Christianity had pagan origins. Then you go to Hebrew, Israelite 101. Then as you advance, 201, 301, 401. But y'all, we got to come out the spirit that it's okay. Because I'm having a serious conversation with a dude on Facebook, and he's so stuck. I just said pull one verse, pull one verse where it says Jesus' birthday is today. I'm about 50 threads in. Script on script on script. He ain't dropping nothing.
Yeah,
the Lord done away with. But that ain't what Christ said. Anyway, go ahead, bro. Keep banging it on out. I'm banging on the other end.
Absolutely. So that right there, this right here is about to go into the AD-BC situation, which is a good read as well. All right. Let's keep reading though. Let's keep reading. We cooking. AD and BC. Under the topic calendar, your encyclopedia will no doubt mention Dionysus Exiguus. When he became upset by what he saw being practiced when he visited Rome, Mr. Exiguus believed the beginning of the year was January 1st. As most do today, right? New Year's Day, right? But we'll explain why this is under Nimrod when his truth barrier gets broken. Mr. Exiguus knew that the pagan festival of Saturnalia, the rebirth of the sun at the winter solstice, had to go. So he proposed to simply change the reason for observing the time. All the customs, the date, and symbols remained in place, but he camouflaged the behavior by declaring it to be observed as the birthday of Messiah, Yahushua, not the sun, S-U-N. To better anchor the idea, he estimated that the actual birth of Yahshua had been 525 years prior to his visit. He imagined that the end of the Roman Babylonian year of his birth was year 0, making that year our rabbi's 525th birthday. He further declared it to be the 525th year of our Lord. Year is the Latin word anno, and our Lord is the Latin word Domini. This produced his main contribution to our present numbering of the year. Y'all, that means you don't even know what year you in. You don't even know what year you in. AD and BC was invented in what you know today is 525 by Exiguus, an angry monk, when he saw Christmas being celebrated in Rome. And his whole idea was just to change the reason why it was celebrated and call it the year of, call it when Messiah was born. No? And not Saturnalia. That means you don't even know the year. You don't know what year this is. But didn't the book of Daniel chapter 7 verse 25 says what? That the fourth beast, the Roman beast, would think to change times and laws. That has happened. But one thing you can't tamper with is the heavens. The Most High, and that's why there's nothing wrong with studying the heavens. It's just when you start getting superstitious with it, that's the problem. But the sun, moon, and stars line up as commanded at certain times of the day and certain seasons, so you can understand what's coming upon the earth. Absolutely. They can't tamper with the heavens. They can only tamper with your perception of time. And even the modern calendar you have, like, come on now, that deal was jacked all the way up to like the 1700s. And they switched that up some more. Like, took 11 days off the calendar, something like that. Nehemiah got that history. He was sharing it not that long ago. Now look at this. Now we have embraced this estimate worldwide and have recorded all history since his time with references to what year of our Lord, AD, anything happened. There had never been anyone thinking it was the year 524 because this idea had not yet been established. He referenced everything that happened before the birth as before Christ, giving us the term BC. Since the time of Exodus, scholars have refined the accuracy of his estimate. It turns out that he was 5 years off. Well, that means Messiah was born back in the beast. He was born before himself. Hold on. Hold on, good. Hold on. He was 5 years off. So Messiah wasn't born during the year 0 and didn't die in the year 33. Really? 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 That's right there. Stars reveal Yah's glory, his power, and his truth. Absolutely. I'm in total agreement. I got a lesson coming for y'all real soon about the heavens. You dig? We are just not to observe the heavens how the heathen observe. You understand? We're not supposed to get superstitious and all that extra. But yeah, the Most High's time clock, his calendar is still valid to this very day. So look at this. It turns out that he was 5 years off and should have determined that that year is 530 AD. You will see this when you look at any timeline. In the study versions of the writings, the scholars print the birth of Yahshua as between 4 BC and 6 BC. And you know why it is? Because Herod the Great, who ordered his death, died around that time. He died around what was known as 6 BC, if you want to call it that. So that means y'all really ain't the year 2021. That's a whole nother topic there, boy. Bear with me. That's a whole nother topic, though, y'all. He has thought to change times and laws. What has he done? He has tampered with your perception of what time you're in. Look at this. That's really very funny because that means we entered the 21st century back in 1996 AD roughly, but no one recognized it. And besides, it's just a made-up date invented by a man anyway. The real truth is our master was not born on December the 25th, but during the fall. It has been carefully calculated that based on the exact time when Zachariah's duties in the temple occurred in Luke the 1st chapter. And the visitation Miriam made to his wife, Elizabeth, that Miriam gave birth to the Prince of Peace during tabernacles, an annual observance given at Leviticus 23 and Deuteronomy 16. He literally tabernacled among men, didn't he? The years are all wrong, as well as when they are supposed to start. But even if the world insists on this system, let's look at more nonsense. For years, the media has brainwashed the public into believing that the year 2000 is the beginning of the 21st century. A broadcaster remarked this will be the last World Series game, U.S. baseball, the millennium. He said this in 1999. The 20th century began on January 1st, 1901. And the centennial year 2000 cannot be called the beginning of the 21st century at all. If you can count, consider 2,000 pennies. There are 100 pennies in $1 and 2,000 pennies in $20. To think that you begin your 21st dollar at your 2,000th penny is just bad mathematics. The 19th century included the year 1900. Scholars are, hold on, y'all. It's all jacked about here. Here you go. Oh, Christmas tree, singing with all reverence. Scholars are not deceived by this. And history will record this blunder. I point this out only to show how easily the masses can be led with blatant errors. The Satanists and Wiccans know more about the concealed origins of Christian traditions and often laugh behind their backs, one said. Y'all heard this? Those that worship the devil and those that's into the Wiccan religion actually are laughing at these so-called Christians out here because your traditions are the same as theirs. You just put Messiah's name on it. One said the Nazarene. Look at what they're saying. The Nazarene. This Nazarene edition, part 56, family. The Nazarene Barbarian Church. Look at this. This is what those that worship Satan are actually calling these so-called Christians. The Nazarene Barbarian Church, the one in the hands of the barbarians, stole the tradition of the folk, pagan people. What it could not absorb was turned into their own perverse fantasies. Signed Cernuo Satan. I believe evil is real and the errors that were observed are an outward sign of rebellion against Yah. It is also true that a deceiver liars in our midst and has planted his seeds, teachings. The great dragon was hurled down, that ancient serpent called the devil or Satan, who leads the whole world astray. Mr. Exeges was devout, sincere, and had great zeal, but was deceived and lacked knowledge. Teachers have said that it would not be a good idea to change the calendar to the correct year because it would just confuse the children. Who is the real kook? Who is the real kook? The one who ignores the truth and wallows in fantasy, or the one who exposes the illusions of what they really are? Inventing man-made methods of worshiping Yah are not new, and he has given several specific commands forbidding his people from worshiping in pagan designs or adding anything to his observances. During the exodus from Egypt, the children of Israel imitated the pagan Egyptians when they fabricated the apis, the golden calf. It had never been their intention to offend him, but they constructed an altar and were going to sacrifice to him on it the following day. But they mixed an Egyptian custom they were accustomed to into worshiping the Most High. This calf had a sun disk between his horns. It was also the time of year in the spring when a calf or bull image was an important pagan item. Remember, the sun was in the constellation of Taurus, the bull. If something is pagan, even if put into the background with camouflage, then we should be very afraid of mixing it into our worship with the Most High. He doesn't change. Paul wrote to the Ephesians, people who had been previously pagans but converted to the walk in the truth. He warned them in the following text, and these are the texts which I am responding to in obedience to warn you also. For this you can be sure, no immoral, impure, or greedy person. Such a man is an idolater, has an inheritance in the kingdom of Mashiach and of Elohim. Let no one deceive you with empty words, for because of such things, Elohim's wrath comes on those who are disobedient. Therefore, do not be partakers with them, for you were once darkness. No. Look at that. Look at that sun disk or that reef between the horns of that bull. For you were once darkness, but now you are light in the Messiah. Live as children of light. For the fruit of the light consists in all goodness, righteousness, and truth, and finds out what pleases the Messiah. Have nothing to do with the fruitful deeds of darkness, but rather expose them. That's in your Bible. For it is shameful even to mention what the disobedient do in secret. But everything exposed by the light becomes visible. For it is light that makes everything visible. This is why it is said, wake up, O sleeper, rise from the dead, and Mashiach will shine on you. Be careful how you live. Not as unwise, but as wise, making the most of every opportunity, because the days are evil. That's Ephesians 5:5-16. Ephesians 5:5-16. All right. He was actually spot on right there. Spot on. We must prove all things to see if they are being done according to the word, the Torah. Light is Torah and darkness is lawlessness. Ephesians 6 discusses the armor of Elohim. We must buckle on the belt of truth. We must be steadfast or possess the shield of faith. We must shod our feet, our walk in peace. Put on a breastplate of righteousness, Torah. Take the helmet of salvation, Torah, and wield the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of Elohim, Torah. This enables us to be able to stand on solid ground in the struggle against the lies sown by the rulers, powers, and spiritual forces of this darkened world. Lies, deceptions, and excuses are the storms and winds that blow against the house we have built. That skyscraper with missing rivets or the one with rivets. The foundation of Torah is not shifting sand. As it is written, so walk in it. The wise man will build on it as his foundation. The flesh must be disciplined by practice and walking in the light of Torah, Hebrews 5:14. This is so that when lawlessness approaches, we will be steadfast. What a rabbi teaches his students is Torah, so also our rabbi, Messiah. A rabbi binds and loosens. If a student goes to ask, what does Torah teach about this? Any rabbi will answer according to his knowledge and skills learned from the Torah. Let's get down. Hold on. Let's get on down. There's something else I want to show y'all. That's the Magi, or the magicians. Oh, the voodoo. Dang, he brings some stuff down. Here we go right here. Page 37. Nimrod stuff and the Santa disguise. We almost done with this. Then we're going to jump into some scriptures. If it's making sense, y'all, give me a Yahoo up in the chat. Lovely Yah, that's an excellent point. Don't the church pastor use exegesis or exegesis when reading the Bible? They claim they do. They claim they do. It's real easy to understand, y'all. All right, let's get this over here. Let me flip on back. Let's jump on down. So now you know the YHWH'S is off. The customs is off. You understand? The whole Christmas thing and how this disguises Saturnalia and then goes back to Nimrod before that, all of it's off. All of it's off. You're actually the victim of a counterfeit worship that was not given by the Almighty. It's not. I know that's hard for a lot of our people to believe, but that's the truth. That was true. It's not given by the Almighty at all. Not a little bit. Not a little bit. And again, we read out of Fossilized Customs, the 9th edition. If y'all want this book, you can order it on Amazon, or if you just want the PDF, just type it in. Fossilized Customs, the Pagan Origins of Popular Customs. Type it in and type PDF behind it. You'll find it online. Blow your mind. Nimrod stuff and the Santa disguise. We've heard all the nice stuff. But what entanglements do we have with a man who supposedly flies horned beasts through the earth at night? Right. Oh, Santa Claus flying reindeers through the earth, ain't it? Well, call it what it is, horned beasts. We've heard all the nice stuff, but what entanglements do we have with the man who supposedly flies horned beasts through the air at night? Is it about sorcery? He wears a wizard cap. The red costume is recent, but it's the ancient color of fire. It's our cultural color for danger. The costume is trimmed in sheepskins. He descends into a fire pit called a chimney at midnight. The hearth is directly linked to the idolatry of the Romans. The fire was sacred to them, and his place was the center of the pagan worship of their deities, their gods. Our mythology of him comes to us through Angleland, England. And that traces to Holland and Germany and back to Turkey. One version involves a 3rd century story about a Saint Nicholas. Y'all listen to this. Really? One version involves a 3rd century story about a Saint Nicholas. Oh, jolly Saint Nick, huh? It had no mention of elves, chimneys, flying reindeer, or supernatural feats. The Christmas tree isn't mentioned in the story. Christianity had made no inroads into the northern areas of Angleland, Holland, Scotland, Finland, and Erie land until well into the 5th century. If anyone named Nicholas existed in Holland during the 3rd century, he was a pagan who obeyed his Druid priests. In the 8th century, a man named Boniface encountered these Druid-led people of the north and sought to convert them. He saw them bringing oak trees into their homes at the winter solstice. Decorating them with gold balls. Representing testicles. Oh, no. Oh, no. Say it ain't so. We just read where the wreath is a fertility symbol, so we knew that had to do with sex. You mean to tell me they are bringing in a wooden object, a tree, and decorating it with golden balls that represent a man's testes? Wow. Oh, you mean to tell me you got Nimrod penis up in your living room? That what you got going on? Wow. You don't know the symbolism. I really don't know what you into, huh? And you can cry all day. It don't mean that to me. Look, this thing been going on way before you was even around. Gold balls represent testicles. No picture on page 3. The word druid means oak-wise because oak trees were sacred to them. This comes from Babylon. At the death of Nimrod, the wife/mother, because Nimrod had relations with his mama, who became his wife, Semiramis, the first woman deified as the queen of heaven. At the death of Nimrod, the wife/mother, Semiramis, taught the young Tammuz to go into the groves or the forest and place a gift on a tree at the winter solstice. This was an offering to his father Nimrod, who was now the sun, S-U-N. The custom of tying a yellow ribbon around an oak tree represents a prayer to the sun. The oak tree was sacred to Odin. At this point, branches of trees came to symbolize Nimrod also. So decorating pagan temples and homes with holly. Deck the halls with all the holly. Yeah. Pagan temples and homes with holly, bows, and wreaths was the custom. The wreaths are branches twisted into circles. Yes. So the branches will be associated with the sun, but were also representations of a womb. Y'all, you mean to tell me the wreath represents the vagina? The tree, the penis, and the balls, the testes. Wow. To the pagan mind, yeah. It's a reason why you don't find these things being observed in the Bible by the faithful of the Most High. Y'all's a reason why, because this never had nothing to do with him. There's a reason why you don't see them doing and worshiping and observing and praying to the Most High the way you do today. Because what you do today is something different. What you do today has been passed down by your oppressors and by your ancestors who didn't know no better. But now you know better. So the question is, if you know better, will you do better? Y'all, Christmas is sexually perverted. Wait till you hear about Easter. Good night. You're going to be like, what? Yeah, you got to get your babies up out of there. You wonder why they sit there and stir at that thing and then grow up later on and have all type of wicked, have a crazy perverted. You wonder why this generation is very, very sexually perverted. You wonder why. Look at all the symbolisms that's going on. But we're also representations of a womb. Wow. A womb. A vagina, huh? And what does it say? A womb and associated. The wreath is Birth canal. Y'all, the wreaths that you be hanging up on your doors, y'all, represent a woman's vagina. The tree is Nimrod's penis, and the balls are his testes. Good night. Yeah, I know. I can hear you now. Well, it don't mean that to me. And then we ask you all the time, well, show it to us in the Bible. You can't show it to us in the Bible. That means you got it from somewhere. Where did you get it from? It ain't in the history of the God's chosen people. So, like, who did you get it from? Oh, my mama. Who she get it from? Her mama. All right, well, let's trace this on back. What did your peoples going back to slavery get it from? Y'all, this thing been around. This form of worship been around before Christ was even born. If you really knew what you was observing, you'll get yourself together. If you really knew, y'all, it's perversion. All right, these are fertility rituals. Remember, it is the nativity of the son, S-U-N. Ezekiel 8:14-18 shows how the women in Jerusalem were weeping for Tammuz, and the Levite priests, 25 men, were facing the rising sun and put a branch to their nose. Yeah, because Israelites fell into this worship too. These customs were called an abomination, a detestable thing. Do not learn the ways of the Gentiles. Do not be terrified by the signs, the zodiacs, or the skies. Although the Gentiles are terrified by them, for the customs of the Gentiles are delusion. They cut a tree from the forest, the work of a cutting tool. They decorated with silver and gold. They fastened it with nails and with hammers. Look at that. Jeremiah chapter 10, 2-4. That's the Christmas tree. That's where you get the custom of the Christmas tree. You bring it to your house and you decorate it with silver and gold. That is a custom to pagan gods, Babylonian gods, going back to Nimrod, the original counterfeit and rebel against the Most High. And Nimrod was the son of Cush. Nimrod was an African. He was a dark-skinned man. Ancient Babylonians were a dark nation. The Heathen get it later on under the Romans, and they call it Saturnalia and do their own thing with it. On down to what is Christmas today. This thing been around. This thing been around, y'all, since right after the flood. So here you go in so-called 2021 talking about some you reinventing something. It don't work like that. That which is crooked can't be made straight. Who can bring a clean thing out of an unclean thing? The Bible says no, not one. Woe unto them that call good evil and evil good. You gotta let that go. You gotta fight against that spirit, that prideful spirit that will have you rebelling against the Most High, all because you just been accustomed to doing something. But if you find out what you're doing was wrong, would you change? That's the question. Talking to us about why you do it. We know what you do it for. We was raised doing the same thing. You ain't telling us nothing new. But my mama biscuits. You ain't telling us nothing new. We know why you do it. We was raised doing it. And we are living examples to let you know that you can stop. And by making that great sacrifice, the Most High will love you because you stood up against what was evil. You stood up against the evildoers. You didn't compromise with the wicked for the sake of getting along. Hey, now you on that narrow path, ain't you, boy? It feel good to be against the whole world, don't it? Feel good. Like we don't know why you do it. Oh, I do it because, and I'll be looking at people like, look, shut up. Might want to hear why you, like we don't know why you keep Christmas. We had the same excuses. When I was a child, I spake as a child. I acted as a child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things. You know it's a lie, and now you know it's rooted in wickedness, and now you know it's rooted in pagan gods and worship. And you know the sexual perversion that's attached to it. You know all this now. The only thing that's left to answer within yourself is, am I going to ignore the calling of the truth, or am I going to keep going on with the lie? Red pill or blue pill, it's up to you. The red pill is the truth, the blue pill, keep living a lie. Up to you. Look at this. Look at this. A Benedictine monk effectively influenced the Druids in 722 CE to adopt a slight variation on the Asherah tree. When Boniface saw the people of the Druids bringing oak trees into their homes, he diverted them to consider the evergreen tree instead and used it to teach them about eternal life. He never taught them that the tree or the wreath was a detestable thing, set apart for destruction, along with anyone who would bring it into their home. Deuteronomy 7:26. Y'all, we read that on this channel last night. Don't bring a cursed thing into your house. People of other regions use date palms. Scholars call it syncretism, when a religious or a philosophical behavior is united or combined with another behavior. It is a conscious attempt to disguise one of them in the camouflage of the other by reinventing. Look at this, y'all. This is what people do today. By reinventing a new meaning and believing in it. Look at that. That's all you doing. Talking about it don't mean that to you. It is a conscious attempt to disguise one of them in the camouflage of the other by reinventing a new meaning and believing in it. Yeah, if you're hearing this today, turn around. You still got breath in your body. It's never too late. Turn around. Turn around. Look, we your brothers and your sisters. A lot of us ain't did no Christmas in a long time. Very, very long time. And stood on it. And as the years come and go, you get stronger and stronger in the faith. You get closer and closer to the Almighty. You're able to stand against all type of wickedness that come your way. And all you gotta do is hold somebody to the very book they say is holy. All right, well, show that to me in the Bible. They can't do it. Oh, you do. Well, do you know what you were doing and where you got it from? You know the origin of it. Let me know when you're ready to have a conversation, cuz it's all good. I don't do it because I don't see it in what we call the Bible. That's why I don't do it. Oh, well, but you know it's time for the family. Look, I know why you get together and go eat. As if we can't get together no other time. And the only reason you don't is because y'all don't deal with each other for real. Keep it real. Oh, it's time to go see family. That's because y'all don't like each other. If you are waiting for these so-called holidays to get together with your family and eat, knowing it's 364 more days in a year, we can go and get together anytime and eat. And it never happened, it's because y'all don't deal with each other. Y'all don't like each other for real. Just be real. Be real with yourself. Because if y'all really dealt with each other, there would be plenty of times during the year y'all would get together and eat and chop it up. Plenty times. It is a conscious attempt to disguise one of them in the camouflage of the other by reinventing a new meaning and believing in it. All right. Nimrod is lurking nearby at Christmas, so maybe he really is Santa Claus too. Ooh, wait. Hold on. Look at this. Nimrod is lurking nearby. Nimrod is lurking nearby at Christmas, so maybe he really is Santa Claus too. The Christmas tree, whether an oak, evergreen, or palm, points back to Babylon and Nimrod. Even further also, because it was in the garden that we first find that trees are involved in determining whether mankind would sin or not. Satan is a usurper, liar, and imitates closely many things. And imitation is the highest form of flattery. Satan is still using trees to whisper lies to us. When I go out to stores at the end of the Roman year, I walk by many of these displays knowing the trees are Asherim and the wreaths are fertility symbols. We'll cover more details about the Christmas tree and wreath customs shortly. If there really was a real person named Nicholas, and it's not all just a legend, he sure went through some changes. The oldest account of his existence is vague and of relatively recent origin. His location places him among the Germanic Dutch, but as I mentioned, these people were not yet Christians. The date and location for him makes it an anachronism. The time is against it being true. In the 3rd century, the people of the north were barbarians, meaning bearded Aryans. They were druids who burned their enemies and criminals in wicker cages over fires, threw wealth into lakes to water idols. Ooh, like we still, hold on. Like we still see people doing fountains, burn children as offerings to the sun, and place jack-o'-lanterns. There go your Halloween right there. Outside their homes, lit by candles made from the fat of their own children. No way. No way. Look at this. Y'all see this? Y'all see what that pumpkin represents? That carved out pumpkin that looked like a skull? Huh? Jack-o'-lanterns outside their homes, lit by candles made from the fat of their own children. I mean, that baby was sacrificed. They cut the fat off his organs and fashioned the fat into a candle. If they weren't pagans, nobody was. So the legendary Nicholas couldn't have been there at that time. Another major problem is this. They claim Nicholas was a bishop, presbyter, or elder. Yet at his death on December 6th, he had only reached the ripe old age of what? 17. Couldn't have been an elder either. Bishop means elder from the Greek word presbys, old man. I'm not leaning heavily in favor of believing the tale with all these conflicting facts. The Roman Catholic Church honors him as a saint. How did we get from Nicholas to Santa Claus? Good question. In the late Middle Ages, the Germanic Dutch who told the story of Nicholas to English listeners spoke in a very pronounced accent. When they said Saint Nicholas, it came out sounding like this. Saint Nicholas. Saint Nicholas. Saint Nicholas. The English hearers of this took it down at first as Santa Claus, and it took the more Spanish form Santa later on. You will sometimes see the form Santa in old books from earlier in the 20th century. Wow. This is going to the Irish potato blight. He going in. But I think I'm going to stop right there, y'all, because, man, there's so much more we can talk about. They're going to Holly right there. Good night. Nah, let me jump on down. We're going to go to the bottom of page 39 because this is where we ended at right here. Ashara. Another name for the quote-unquote Queen of Heaven. We're going to read this and we're going to go ahead and get into some scriptures. No way. I know somebody, man, we done pissed the devil off today, Nehemiah. We done pissed the devil off today, boy.
Ah, yes. Glorious.
Talk to us, Nehemiah.
Oh, no. It ain't nothing but to have a great time stomping out the devil. You hear me?
Mm-hmm.
But what you over there chewing on at that bar?
A little orange. No, I ain't chewing on no animals.
No, we know that. No, man, it's another great day to serve our Creator, bro. Mm-hmm. I'm still over here having this long drawn out. I'm about to get ready to block dude. I mean, I don't know why I keep going with reprobates. This boy, instead of showing one scripture that says today is Jesus' birthday, this boy done went around the world, came back. I think we done went through the Red Sea. I think we done came through the flood. I think we done came back from exile. This boy he can't answer.
Remember the movie you showed me over your crib, The Harder They Fall, right?
Uh-huh.
Remember what Regina King told old boy Idris Elba? What she say?
Oh, yeah, when they was up there talking. And something about the people don't believe. Or they don't see the vision. Something like
She,
that.
remember, she pointed to the people out there, but she was talking to him.
Talking to him, doing this little cufflink.
She said, them people out there, either they see it or they just don't want to.
That's what she
That's all it
said.
come down to, big dog. Don't even waste your time. Keep it moving.
Wisdom.
That's it. Once you done put it out there 2 or 3 times, and you know, hey, he ain't coming back with nothing but emotion. Hey, bro, keep it moving. Keep it moving. Either you see it or you just don't want to. That's all it come down to, bro. All right. All right, Asherah, the Christmas tree connection, Baal and Asherah, the sun king and his consort. Asherah is known in scripture as the queen of heaven and is called Artemis by the Ephesians in the book of Acts, chapter 19. The word Asherah is found at least 40 times in the Tanakh and refers to a wooden object used in the worship of a consort of Baal. The image of Asherah was a tree used by the pagan Canaanites and Sidonians. One of these pagan Sidonians, hold on. Let y'all look at that for a second. Good night. One of these pagan Sidonians. Oh, man, Nehemiah. One of these pagan Sidonians was who? Drum roll. Jezebel, who married Ahab, king of northern Israel. Northern Israel was an apostasy, being led into rebellion by their leadership and violated the covenant of Yah. They added an 11th commandment. You should worship Yah your Elohim in Mount Gerizim. Note that this is one of the topics of the conversation between Yahushua and the Samaritan woman at the well in John, the 4th chapter. The northern tribes began to worship the Baalim, consisting of Baal and Asherah, influenced by King Ahab's Sidonian wife, Jezebel. Such tree worship was put under the ban, yet the 10 northern tribes failed to carefully guard Yah's commandments or declarations. Asherah became the deal breaker, and the northern tribes were taken away into the nations. They remained so now for 2,700 years. When northern Israel was dispersed into the nations by the Assyrians in 722 BC, they carried this tree custom with them. The lost tribes of dispersed Israel have preserved one of their most cherished pagan customs among them, the Christmas tree, or Asherah. If you were brought up with this custom, then you are most likely descended from these northern tribes, even if only doctrinally. You were taught to practice an ancient Phoenician form of idolatry and never knew it. Asherah was the queen of heaven. See Jeremiah chapter 7 and chapter 44. Now read specifically how the Creator feels about it. Deuteronomy 7 and 26. Do not bring a detestable thing into your house, or you like it will be set apart for destruction. Utterly abhor and detest it, for it is the set apart for destruction. All right, let y'all look at some of these pictures before we stop sharing. All right. Now look at this. Y'all think it's a game, but look at that. Yes, the tree represents a phallus, a man's privy member. The balls on there represent testes and the womb, and the wreath represents the womb. Y'all, it's a sexually perverted holiday. Fertility rituals. The documentary you watched earlier showed you. Remember in Rome? All whores were free during the Saturnalia. Learning the ways of the heathen, Canaanite, Phoenician religious traditions exploded into the world when northern Israel was expelled from the land 2,700 years ago. The wreath is the womb, vagina, and the tree is the phallus. The customs of the nations are altogether worthless, and their objects of worship are cursed things. No amount of time will ever clean them from their defiled past, even if people are ignorant of that past. Sun, wreath, an image of jealousy, brother. No way. And there's more to that, you know what I mean? But y'all look that up when y'all get a chance. Excellent information. Excellent information about the history of what everybody called Christmas today. Again, that was Fossilized Customs. All right. Customs, the pagan origins Type that in the chat right there, y'all. Y'all look that book up. All right. We had that book for many years. You know, during these time of the years, we always bring it up. Show people what time it is. Nehemiah, you got something for us?
No, brother. You already I posted in the room also as well. The Christmas one specifically, and then reposted the one for the PDF.
Absolutely.
So kind of go back and find it.
Absolutely. Black Mac 1978 says Hanukkah like Christmas. Not at all.
Nothing like.
Not at all. That's about the history of the Greeks coming in and attempting to Hellenize us. And you know, the brothers got it in. You feel me? And rededicated the temple and the altar back to the Almighty. And they refused to be Hellenized, even though a lot of our people were Hellenized. All right. Now you are the temple, you are the altar, you understand? And as much zeal as them brothers fought to destroy foreign invaders, you need to stand that, go 10 times harder in the spirit. You understand? To keep the temple of the Most High pure. All right. So now it's nothing like it. 25th of Kislev is not December the 25th. Some people try to water that down and act like that. No, we're not playing. No, we're not even gonna play with the devil. It's nothing like it. Nothing we just read even resembles that. Do it, Nehemiah.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. You talking about war. You talking about land being taken. You talking about war upon the temple. We ain't talking about no spirit, no horned animals flying through the sky.
You know what I mean?
Nothing the same.
We ain't talking about none of that is we Nehemiah.
No Baal, no Nimrod, no Asherah, no phalluses, no vaginas, no golden balls, no trees. None of that is in that Hanukkah, Hanukkah, nothing like that. Not at all.
No, it has nothing to do with it. They around the same time, but they're not the same.
They're not the same. You had a mother lose her life with her 7 sons. You had an elder, you know, that stood for the Most High, you know, whether to live one more day dishonorable. Yeah, nothing like what you got today.
Right, you can't even compare it. Totally different. All right, Nehemiah, let's jump over here. Let's go to Isaiah real quick, brother, if you don't mind. Let's go to Isaiah the 5th chapter. Let's throw a few daggers out there. We done went over the history. Now let's throw some daggers. All right. Isaiah 5, we're going to read 20 through 24. Hallelujah. Let me know when you're there, Hebrew.
All right, I'm there.
All right, let's eat. Let's get it. Hold on, let me share
Isaiah chapter 5, verse 20.
Let me share the screen real quick.
All right, go ahead.
All right, they should see that on the screen. All right, come on, Hebrew, let's get it.
All right, verse 20. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness from light and light from darkness, and put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter.
Y'all see that? So he's basically saying woe unto our current belief today because everything is backwards. Everything is turned upside down. Right? Today you call evil good, and what's good you call evil. Right? Darkness for light, light for darkness. Come on now, bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Right? He's saying, whoa, that's against the Most High. He doesn't like that. We run around here calling something evil good and thinking we got the right or we on good terms with him to reinvent something that was totally dedicated to his enemy. Woe unto you. Don't get out of the spirit of calling evil good. All right, go ahead.
Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight.
We got that bad today, y'all. Wise in your own eyes means you're very, very opinionated. To me, it don't mean that, you know, and see, I do that because of this, you know, but because of me, and that's a problem. You're very, very self-centered and self-absorbed. Last I checked, we all supposed to be part of Mashiach's body. All right, that means we all connected. Where you get off being self-centered and self-absorbed and wise in your own eyes, dropping all your opinions, heavily opinionated today, Nehemiah.
Boy,
the Bible says, woe unto you if you like that. Woe unto you if you call an evil good. Woe unto you if you heavily or overly opinionated. Woe unto you if you self-centered and self-absorbed. Look at this, verse 22. What did it say, y'all?
woe unto them that are mighty to drink wine, and men of strength to mingle strong drink.
Yeah, and, you know, and that goes into your spiritual drunkenness too. And that's what's happening today, man. Our people who are celebrating this day, y'all, are spiritually drunk. They're inebriated. They staggering to and fro, but it's not from wine. It's not from strong drink. They are spiritually consumed with the drink of Babylon. Go ahead, Hebrew.
Which justify the wicked for reward, and take away the righteousness of the righteous from him.
Yeah, so you would justify the wicked. That you declare him righteous. But the real righteous, you against them. You stand against them. You cast your opinion in with everybody else against the righteous. But you'll clear the wicked. See, y'all, we are not in the right spirit. We are not under the right vibration of the Most High. Verse 24, what did it say, Nee?
Therefore, as the fire devoureth the stubble, and the flame consumeth the chaff, so their root shall be as rottenness, and their blossom shall go up as dust, because they have cast away the law of YHWH'S of hosts, and despised the words of the Holy One of Israel.
You see what he's saying right there? He said your root gonna be rottenness. Now that means you
root is rotten, boy. The blossom ain't no good.
Yeah, whatever. Nothing's gonna grow behind it. There'll be no pride. If the roots are rotten, there ain't nothing growing coming out of that. What's growing would not profit you. The roots are rotten. And whatever grow, whatever will blossom will be as dust. You see? The vanity of heathen traditions. Heathens and their vain customs. Means, and if you partake in it, it means you got a rotten root, and whatever fruit grows will blow away as dust. It will profit you nothing. That's why he said the customs of the people are vain. Empty. It's nothing. It means absolutely nothing. And the reason why your roots will be rotten and whatever grow out of this, those rotten roots will be symbolic to dust blowing away, because you didn't cast away what the Most High commanded. You ain't doing what he commanded anymore. Everybody out here doing their own thing. Everybody's busy. Go ahead, Nehemiah. That's it for that. You got something?
No, that's it.
Straight up, man. Like, you know, our people really got to get this together, brother. Get this together and stand up for what's real. All right. I got Job 14:4 next, one verse. Because a lot of our people think they can reinvent something. A lot of our people really believe this. And that's not the case, y'all. Go ahead, my brother.
Who can bring a clean thing out of an unclean? Not one.
Y'all heard that? Y'all heard that? There ain't nobody breathing that can reinvent something unclean and call it clean. Christmas is something that is rooted in extreme paganism, druid demon worship, child sacrifice, pedophilia, orgies, drunkenness, You dig? And even sexual perversion. How are you cleaning that up? How are you cleaning that up? Nehemiah said nobody can. Nobody can bring a clean thing out of what's unclean. No one. What you think about that, Nehemiah?
Hey, look, unless you ain't one, unless you ain't one, I don't know how you get around it. It says no, not one.
No, not one. Can't bring something clean out of what's unclean. No, not one. And once you understand the origin of it, then it's like, oh, okay, no, I can't partake in that anymore. That's it. I mean, it's just that simple. All right, so let's go to the birth story of Messiah. This is where everybody want to get. This is why we give gifts, is because of Matthew the 2nd. Well, let's go to Matthew the 2nd chapter. Let's see if this is symbolic for what you call Christmas. All right, Matthew chapter 2, my brother.
All right, hold on. Bing, bing,
I'm
bing.
getting to it. Let's read the story. It's the reason why we ask, can Christmas be found in the Bible and no one finds it? You would think they would at least try to go here. You don't even try to go here, Nehemiah. It's crazy, man.
They ain't got nowhere to go, period, bro.
Nowhere to go. Nowhere
Period,
to go.
point blank.
Now, we ain't saying our master wasn't born, but everything y'all doing, where that's it? Where the date at? Where the customs? Where all this at? And there were 3 gifts given to him: gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Where your little? Why do little Brad get a Tonka truck? Where are you getting all that from? Gold, frankincense, and myrrh were given to our king.
Prophet and priest.
Prophet, priest, and king. Where you get giving little Bart a Tonka truck at? By symbolic gifts that were given to him. Because he represents king, prophet, and priest. Where you get that at? How do you equate? And look, I'm not even into the birthdays and none of that. But last I checked, whoever's birthday it is gets the gifts. I'm just saying, I'm playing y'all a game right now since y'all think, oh, it's Messiah's birthday. So your babies get gifts on his birthday. And I don't do the birthday celebrations and all that. But last I checked, if I did do the birthday celebrations, the person whose birthday it is the one that get the gifts. So why the hell your babies get gifts on Christmas, and Christmas is supposed to be Jesus' birthday? It don't even.
Because y'all ain't never gave nobody else gifts on somebody else's birthday.
It don't even make sense based off y'all own logic. It don't even make sense based off your own logic. If this is his birthday, what your baby's getting gifts for? I don't even celebrate birthday. I ain't even into the birthday thing. I'm just playing hypotheticals with the family. Why is everybody else getting gifts? And it's Christ's birthday, supposed. Yeah, I know. Look, when you start examining this thing, y'all, it don't make sense at all. Let's get it, Nehemiah.
All right. So now it says, now when Yahushua was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem.
Right.
And notice it don't say 3 wise men.
No, just say wise men from the east to Jerusalem, meaning they was traveling west. Remember that. They're traveling west. If they from the east, if they from east of Jerusalem to get to Jerusalem, they got to travel west.
Makes sense. Abraham originally came from the east as well.
Makes sense, right?
Mhm.
If that makes sense, give us a 3 up in the chat. The wise men were not traveling east. They were from the east. They were from east of Jerusalem. So that means they had to travel west to get to Jerusalem. Right? Excuse me. All right, go ahead, Hebrew.
Saying, where is he that is born king or Malak of the Yahudim? Well, of the Jews, I should say. For we have seen his star in the east and are come to worship him.
They saw his star back where they was from. Right? They saw it in the east where they was at. All right? And that was their cue to travel west, meaning that the heavens lined up. The heavens do line up on certain events. If you get into the book of Jasher, you see even when Abraham was born, the heavens lined up a certain way. And they told Nimrod, hey, tonight is born the man who will eventually have a son that will take down your entire kingdom. You better kill him. So the study of the heavens ain't an evil thing. It's only when the superstition come into play behind it. But the heavens are the Most High's calendar. That's his time clock. When you get into Numbers 24, talk about the star of the Messiah. All right, so there's nothing wrong with studying the heavens. Just leave the heathen superstition out of it. How about that? All right, because when you go back to Genesis, the 1st chapter, you'll see that the heavens were given as signs for us. All right, so the heavens announced the glory of the Most High, correct? They even announced the birth of the Messiah. And the Magi, the wise men, who you calling Magi. Matter of fact, I'm going to click on that. I need to click on that definition so y'all can see what kind of men these were. They understood it was the time of the Messiah. The Messiah would be born around this time based off how the heavens are lined up. You know what's crazy? They're wise men, and we got a famous brother in our history that had the authority over all the wise men out east. You go by the name of Daniel in the Bible. Go back and read the story of Daniel. Daniel was put over all the wise men. And Daniel had prophecies about when Messiah would be born. Daniel, the 9th chapter, 24 on down. When he will be born, when he will be cut off. All of it. All right. So we can assume that these wise men, hundreds of years later, or actually wise men who studied the prophecies that Daniel wrote down about the coming Messiah, we can assume that these wise men are actually from Babylon, believe it or not. And that makes sense. Now, let's look up these wise men up here. The Magi. Wow.
Strong's G 3097. Magos.
Magos. They got wise man, sorcerer, a magus. The name given by the Babylonians, Chaldeans, Medes, Persians, and others to the wise men, teachers, priests, physicians, astrologers, seers, interpreters of dreams like Daniel, like Joseph, augurs, soothsayers, and sorcerers. Wow. Wow. But these wise men are in Jerusalem to worship the king of the Jews, the Malaki Yahudim. All right, so obviously these ain't a bad company of men. All right, look at that. The name given by the Babylonians, the Chaldeans, the Medes, Persians, and others to the wise men, teachers, priests, physicians, astrologers, seers, interpreter of dreams, augurs, soothsayers, and sorcerers. The Oriental wise men, Orient mean y'all of the East, it don't mean Chinese. The Oriental wise men, astrologers, who have been discovered by the rising of a remarkable star, that the Messiah had just been born came to Jerusalem to worship him. They were astrologers. They studied the heavens. So obviously this ain't a bad thing. All right. Can that knowledge be used for wickedness? Absolutely it can. Just like any bits of knowledge. So if you into astrology, just make sure you're not using it to get on your, your madness. All right. Make sure you ain't using it to get superstitious and all that. But astrologers, wise men, showed up to bring gifts and bow to the king. Really? Really, huh? That's in Matthew. All right, let's go on back though, Nehemiah. Hold on. All right, before we get back to that, let me show y'all dealing with Daniel real quick. We're going to drop that in Nehemiah. We're going to come back to Matthew 2. Let me show y'all something. This back during the Babylonian captivity. Wait. All right, let's read Daniel, Hebrew. Let's read 1 through 4, I think it is. Let's read that real quick and we'll get on back. All right. Right, y'all read Simon Magus. I know. I thought about that too. We know he was an evil spawn of the devil though. So
in the 3rd year of the reign of Jehoiakim, the king of Judah, came Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, unto Jerusalem and besieged it. And the Most High gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into his hand, and part of the vessels of the house of Elohim, which he carried into the land of Shinar, to the house of his Elohim. And he brought the vessels into the treasure house of his Elohim. And the king spake unto Ashpenaz, the master of his eunuchs, that he should bring certain of the children of Israel and of the king's seed and of the princesses.
So he put the chamberlain or the master of his eunuchs. Oh wait, you dig? He was like, look, we done took down Judah, but specifically bring into my quarters certain of them. All right, and this is who he brought in. Go ahead.
Children in whom was no blemish, but well favored, and skilled in all wisdom, and cunning in knowledge, and understanding science.
Understanding who?
Science.
Science. Look at that, y'all. Go ahead.
And such as had ability in them to stand in the king's palace, and whom they might teach the learning and the tongue of the Chaldeans.
Look at this.
The Chaldeans.
So he's saying
from the east.
And believe it or not, these are Daniel and them.
Strong's H 4093. Madah.
This Shadrach, Meshach,
Second entry. Madah.
This Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, Daniel and all them, they were all, they was basically house Negroes. They wasn't out in the field with the rest of the Judites. They was, they was house Negroes. That's because they had superior knowledge. All right. Understanding science, meaning they had understanding and knowledge, thought, knowledge. They had understanding on how the mind worked, thought, place of knowledge, intelligence or consciousness, knowledge, science, or thought. You see that? And these were Israelites that he brought into his chambers. You dig? And it wasn't every Judite he brought in there, but it was only ones that had understanding when it came down to certain types of knowledge, interpreting of dreams, science, and all that. You feel that? Nehemiah, talk to me.
No, we all good, bro. I'm ready when you are. You going back to Matthew 2?
But you peeped that though?
About the king bringing in Shadrach, Meshach, and them in, being skilled and mindful of all that Israel has. And that's nothing about your enemy too. They study you. They study you. They learn you. And then they teach you or try to pass you what they want you to have. Because see, now they got to go in there and learn the tongue of the Chaldeans.
Right. And this is where we came out. That's when we came out of captivity with like speaking a different form of Hebrew. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Same thing what happened here. See, your enemy has got wiser. He ain't dumb at all.
Exactly.
Change your language and everything. You saw it in the movie Roots. What's your name, boy? Kunta Kinte. Pow! Ooh. Toby.
And what's your name, boy?
And look, that happened all throughout Israel. Look, surnames are all throughout the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel was surnamed, Peter, Simon surnamed, all of them surnamed up.
That's right, bro.
But yeah, I peeped it. And then look, and the Chaldeans is over in the east. So what Mally's pointing out can't be too hard and far-fetched because Daniel would be in charge of these magi. So you would have left them certain writings and understandings what to look for, which was given to him.
Exactly.
By the Most High.
Exactly.
In the land, in the east, where they resided at.
Exactly. Now, because you got to ask yourself, who are these wise men and where did they come from? And how did they know out of all people being born, you dig, it would be him? Now, when you go to Daniel, the 2nd chapter, just real quick, Nehemiah, this is the famous story about the king's dream. You know, the head of gold and the arms of silver. You know that one, Nehemiah. Mm-hmm. And remember, Nebuchadnezzar called them in. He called all the wise men in, which included Daniel and them, and said, I had a dream. Tell me what I dreamed and give me the interpretation. I'm killing everybody. And everybody was like, man, ain't nobody on earth. You got to tell us what you dreamt first, so then we can give you the interpretation. He said, oh, no, you trying to gain time. You stalling. What am I paying you for? If you truly a wise man, tell me what I dreamt or what I was dreaming and give me the interpretation. Not everybody dies, right? And so the king was like, kill everybody. And Daniel said, hey, look, hold on. Give me a night. I'm going to seek the God of heaven. He's going to let me know what it is, and I'm going to go in and interpret the dream. All right? And that's exactly what he did. And because of that, Daniel became the leader over all the wise men. I want to show y'all that. Daniel 2. Let's read 46 through 49, brother. Daniel promoted. This is how Daniel became leader over all the wise men. Now, y'all, this is hundreds of years. Hundreds of years. Close to like 500 years before the birth of Messiah.
That's Daniel chapter 2, verse 46.
Yeah.
You also read that Daniel chapter 1. First couple of verses.
1 through 4 on that one. Yeah.
And actually take wisdom from Daniel, man. You know, because too many Israelites today try to wing it and do a disjustice to the Most High and the Word. If you don't know, it's okay. Say, hey, look, give me a chance to go check that out and I get back with you.
That's right. Hey, and true about this, y'all. Y'all know Daniel didn't eat flesh either, right? That's another one. You know, he didn't eat the king's meat. All right, come on, Knock. Let's get it.
What you over there trying to brush?
That will grow one day, brother. Come on, let's get it.
Then the king Nebuchadnezzar fell upon his face and worshipped Daniel, and commanded that they should offer an oblation and sweet odors unto him.
That king, like, boy, Daniel cold. The God he served is authentic, boy. Right, go ahead.
The king answered to Daniel and said, of a truth it is, that your Elohim is the power of powers, and the Lord of kings, and the revealer of secrets, saying thou couldst reveal this secret. Mm-hmm. And the king made Daniel a great man and gave him many great gifts. and made him ruler. It goes just like Joseph, and made him ruler over the whole province of Babylon, and chief of the governors over all the wise men of Babylon.
There it is right there. You see that?
Just like Joseph.
Chief of the governors over all the wise men of Babylon. Babylon, y'all, is east of Jerusalem. You understand? And what other major city was east of Jerusalem that had wise men in it? That would have knew when the Messiah or Mashiach would be born, based off how the heavens would line up. Y'all, they would have to be from Babylon. Under a part of the same fraternal brotherhood that Daniel was a part of. And they studied his writings and understood his prophecies about Messiah. And when the heavens lined up, because remember, the wise men or the magi have the knowledge of the heavens as well. They're astrologers.
And knowledge of science.
Yeah, knowledge of science and all that. You dig? These are not just your average Israelite that precepts. These ain't your average Israelites. These are brothers that's on the level. These are scientists. These are healers. They physicians. They scientists. They healers. They understand dark sentences and how the heavens rotate and line up. Yeah. Those type of brothers. These are not, just your average Israelite. They can just quote the 10 Commandments. No, these brothers, these are brothers on a whole nother level. All right. So we see Daniel was over what? All the wise men and chief of the governors over all the wise men of Babylon. What verse 49 say?
Then Daniel requested of the king, and he said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego over the affairs of the province of Babylon. Mm-hmm. But Daniel sat at the gate of the king.
Sat at the gate of the king.
Israel was over all that.
So now we see Daniel and them. Daniel was the ruler and governor over all the wise men because of the ability he had, not only of interpreting a dream, but telling the king exactly what he dreamt because the Spirit of the Almighty revealed it to him. We went back to chapter 1, it showed that Daniel and his crew were the royal children of Judah. They were learned in science and knowledge and all type of things today that a lot of our people are afraid of. But they understood them things. Also, if you keep reading the story, Daniel and them didn't eat flesh. They didn't eat flesh. I know somebody mad now, but y'all be all right. All right. And I just want to go one more spot in this Daniel, Nehemiah, and then we going back to Matthew, the 2nd chapter, because we gotta put a somewhat close identity on these wise men. What you mean wise men just showed up in Jerusalem out of the east, talking about they seen the star of the Messiah? Hold on. Why would they know about the star of Mashiach? Who are the wise men? Where they come from? Oh, who they was up under? Oh, you start tracking it down. You like, oh, okay. More than likely, y'all, they were wise men from Babylon. Babylon was the major civilization east of, east of Jerusalem that had wise men. Egypt had wise men too, but they wasn't from the south. They was from the east, correct? And it just so happened that Daniel even had a prophecy. The man who was over the wise men, who was learned in science, had a prophecy of when Mashiach would be born. All right. Daniel 9, brother. Start at verse 24 for me.
70 weeks are determined unto thy people and unto thy holy city to finish the transgression. And to make an end of sins, and to make reconciliation for iniquity, and to bring an everlasting righteousness, and to seal up the vision and the prophecy, and to anoint the most holy.
These are 70 prophetic weeks, not literal weeks. Now, notice what the subtitles say. It says 70 weeks and the Messiah. Yeah, Daniel had prophecy of the Messiah coming. And all this had to do with finishing the transgression. Notice that the 70 weeks have to do with the people of Israel, specifically Judah, and Jerusalem, to finish the transgression, to make an end of sins, to make reconciliation for iniquity, to bring in everlasting righteousness, to seal up the vision and prophecy, and to anoint the most holy. Who we talking about here, Nehemiah?
Hamashiach.
Gotta be talking about Yahshua, the
Hamashiach.
mighty Messiah. And his coming has everything to do with the people and Jerusalem, the holy city. Finishing of transgression, to make an end of sins, to make reconciliation for iniquity, to bring in everlasting righteousness, to seal up the vision and the prophecy, and to anoint the most holy. Look at this. Go ahead.
Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah.
Unto who?
Prince, the Messiah.
Oh. Go ahead.
The prince shall be 70 weeks,
7 weeks.
60 and 2 weeks. And the streets shall be built again, and the wall even in troublesome times.
So he just letting it be known when the commandment go forth to restore and rebuild Jerusalem. And when you want to know when that commandment went forth, you got to get into the books of Ezra. You'll see it. From that moment, the command go forth to restore and rebuild Jerusalem until the coming of Mashiach. He gave a certain time frame. All right. And I'm here to tell y'all, these wise men from the East who studied Daniel's writings. Daniel just so happened to be the master over all the wise men, saved them on multiple occasions, confounded the king on multiple occasions. Just so happened to have prophecies of the coming of Messiah right here in Daniel. All right. If y'all understand that, give me an 8 up in the chat. Let's get back to Matthew. That's it for that, Nehemiah. I just wanted to show that real quick. All right. These was not your just, average Israelites that's on a precept. No. Nah, these were brothers. These was deep brothers. These was your scientists. These were your healers. These were your astrologers. You understand? These was the brothers that understood dark sentences and all that. Riddles. You dig? These are brothers that were dealing with wisdom directly. I hope what I'm saying ain't going over your head. All right? So now we got a place where these wise men would be coming from. These actually are wise men from Babylon.
You at verse 3.
Who are part of the same fraternal brotherhood that Daniel was part of, who studied his writings, and that's the only logical understanding that would show why they would come to Jerusalem and bow to the king. So out of verse 2 again for me, brother.
All right. Saying, where is that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east and come to worship him. When Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And when he had gathered all the chief priests and scribes of the people together, and demanded of them where the Messiah should be born, and they said unto him, in Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it is written by the prophet, and thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, art not the least among the princes of Judah. For out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel.
That's Micah the 5th chapter. They understood where Mashiach would be born. It's Micah 5, 1-2. Write that down. All right, where the king at? And they talking to the king because he's an imposter king that's on the throne. So he got to get the scribes and everybody together. Hey, where the Messiah gonna be born at? Bethlehem, the city of David, because that's where King David was born at. Right? Go ahead.
Then Herod, when he had privily called the wise men, inquired of them diligently what time the star appeared.
So he asking them around what time, because obviously it takes a long time to walk from Babylon to Jerusalem. You see, he asking them what time did the star appear. At what time did the star appear to you that he was born? By the time they see the star, they got to start traveling west. And that takes time. We're going to show you how much time it took. All right? So he asked them, when did you see this star? Right? Go ahead.
And he sent them to Bethlehem and said, go and search diligently for the young child. And when you have found him, bring me word again, that I may come and worship him also. Mm-hmm. When they had heard the king, they departed, and lo, the star which they saw in the east went before them, till it came and stood over where the young child was.
Where the young child was. You see that? See that? So what they saw in the east, they saw that same star again. And that star guided them. All right? Go ahead, Hebrew.
And when they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceeding great joy.
Come on.
And when they were come into the house, they saw the young child with Mary his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented unto him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh.
So they don't even say y'all the whole fallacy of 3 wise men. No, it's 3 gifts. It don't never tell you how many wise men it is.
It don't.
And they gave him specific gifts. They didn't give him Tonka trucks. They didn't give him a Barbie and Ken. No, gold, frankincense, and myrrh. All they got to do with gold for a king, frankincense for the priest, myrrh for a prophet, for the anointing. Y'all see that? Because he fulfills all them: king, priest, prophet. Oh, I know somebody mad tonight, Nehemiah. But if for those who are proponents of Christmas, I mean, this is the only spot they try to take you, y'all. And this ain't got nothing to do with no Christmas.
Ain't no tree in there.
Ain't no trees, ain't no wreaths, ain't no mistletoe, ain't no eggnog, ain't no milk and cookies, ain't no Santa Claus, ain't no reindeers, ain't no Yule logs. Oh, wait, ain't no Nat King Cole playing, boy.
Boy, ain't no Temptations Christmas song.
Boy, ain't no Jackson 5 playing, boy.
Boy, ain't no New Edition. Ain't none that give love on Christmas Day.
Now, notice it keeps calling him a young child, right? Now, watch this. Now, watch this. Let me show y'all this. All these toys. Come on. What does it say?
And being warned of Yahweh in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed into their own country another way.
That's right. Go ahead.
And when they were departed, behold, the angel of Yahweh appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise, take the young child and his mother, and flee into Egypt, and be thou there until I bring thee word. For Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. Mm-hmm. Couldn't be a white boy with blue eyes and blonde hair going into an all-black Egypt, huh?
Nah, that's out.
Boy would have picked out quick. And when he arose, he took the young child and his mother by night and departed into Egypt, and was there until the death of Herod.
Right. So before the installation of the Suez Canal, you could walk from Israel into Egypt, huh?
Not by ships, huh?
One solid land, man. You can walk there. They're neighbors. Israel is Northeast Africa. Israel is not in
the Middle East.
The Finland. The Netherlands. Israel's not in the Netherlands. It ain't in Finland. It ain't in Poland. You understand? It ain't in Germany. Israel ain't even in Rome, yo. It ain't in Spain. It ain't in Russia. Israel is in Africa. Israel is Northeast Africa. It's right next to Egypt. You could walk there. Go ahead, Hebrew.
And when he arose, I read that, and was there until the death of Herod, that it might be fulfilled that was spoken of Yahweh by the prophet saying, out of Egypt have I called my son.
Now watch this. Watch this. This means, now watch this. Go ahead, verse 16.
Then Herod, when he saw that he was mocked of the wise men, he was exceeding wroth, and sent forth and slew the children that were in Bethlehem, and all the coast thereof.
Come on.
From 2 years old and under.
Hold on. What that say? From what?
2 years old and under.
Go ahead.
According to the time which he had diligently inquired of the wise men.
He kills every child 2 years old and under in Bethlehem. Why he ain't kill all the newborn babies? Why he ain't just kill all the infants who was just born? Because remember, he asked them, when did you see this star? Obviously, they had seen it, y'all, 2 years earlier. There's no reason to kill children 2 years and under based off the time that they told you when they saw the star. If when they saw the star, that's exactly when he was born. Or when they got there, that's when he was born. No, it was calling him a young child the whole time. So in other words, the wise men didn't even give him gifts on his birthday, y'all. That's the whole point in going through that. They didn't even give him gifts on his birthday. By the time he got there, he was a young child. He wasn't a newborn. How do we know that? Because Herod killing every child 2 years and under. He asked him, when did you see this star? And then he kills every child 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had diligently inquired of the wise men. You see that? So even if you go here and slow down, you'll see that the gifts that they gave him wasn't even when he was born, y'all. Stop it. Stop it. If it was, Herod wouldn't have had to kill 2 years and under. He'd have killed all the infants that was just born in Bethlehem. That makes sense, Nehemiah?
All the sense in the world to me, anyway.
Oh, we got a problem. Oh, go ahead, Hebrew. Let's get it.
Then was fulfilled that which was spoken by Jeremy the prophet, saying, in Ramah was there a voice heard, lamentation and weeping and great mourning, Rachel weeping for her children, and will not be comforted, because they are not.
Go ahead.
But when Herod was dead, behold, the angel of Yahweh appeareth in the dream to Joseph in Egypt, saying, arise and take the young child, there we go again, and his mother, and go into the land of Israel, for they are dead which sought the young child's life.
Now this is years later, and he's still called a young child. You see? He's never referred to as a toddler, an infant.
A baby.
Go ahead, Doc.
And he arose and took the young child and his mother and came into the land of Israel. But when he heard that Archelaus did reign in Judea in the room of his father Herod, he was afraid to go thither. Notwithstanding, being warned of YHWH'S in a dream, he turned aside into the parts of Galilee.
Northern Israel. Galilee? That's northern Israel. Go ahead.
And he came and dwelt in a city called Nazareth, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophets, he shall be called a Nazarene.
Called a who?
Nazarene.
Oh, wait, y'all. That's the end of Nazarene edition 456. I thought it only did. He's gonna be called a Nazarene. Oh.
Hey, boy, you know you bring the game, boy.
Oh, wait, it's perfect to end it right there. He should be called a Nazarene. That's about the birth of the Holy Messiah. And as you see, y'all, it ain't got nothing to do with the Christmas that everybody is celebrating. Even if they try to reinvent that, Nehemiah, makes sense?
Makes sense.
Wait, you got any last words for us, brother?
No, I think we'll get my butt up out of here. I'm supposed to be helping out with the wife and her mother. Oh, thank everybody for all y'all prayers. So, My mother-in-law suffered a light stroke. That's what it was. I mean, but today she sounded like her normal self.
That's right.
So all praises, prayers do work. I talked to a few of y'all. Appreciate the calls. Appreciate the prayers, the personal prayers. And man, I love all y'all indeed and truth for holding us up in our time.
Absolutely, bro. Hey, look, and you know we're going to continue to do that. I mean, we brought her in prayer before the throne last night when we was ending class, my brother. So, hey, look, all praise. Rejoice and believe.
That's it.
Rejoice and believe, my brother. All praises. Said she sounded like her normal self, huh, brother?
Yeah, look, I had the wife put both of the wives on missions, because remember I told you she was nauseating, throwing up, and, so they had to go to the apartment and, clean up, you know what I'm saying, everything for it and get her some clothes to have at the, hospital or whatever. So the women going out taking care of mother-in-law. So you know how they go. I need to check on my mom's too. She is not answering this phone. But I mean, she fine. They sending me pictures of her.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, brother. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and there go another one. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Another testimony. The prayers from my mother, they wrote off twice.
That's right.
Twice. And I should have sent this picture to Mally real quick. I have to find it. No, I got it. And he probably put it up to the screen. She's sitting up in her chair. Doing just fine.
Yeah, man, look, tell mama, we steady praying for her. You know what it is. All praises, glory, and honor to the Most High, brother. Also, Morty, infant daughter.
I talked to Raheem yesterday. She doing excellent.
Yeah. I talked to Heems too. Heem called you yesterday?
Yeah, he called me the day before, but I actually talked to him for a good while yesterday.
Yeah, I talked to the brew of many runs.
Azariah.
Yeah, I talked to the brew of many runs.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, he called me yesterday. Have a good talk to the Hawk, man. You know what I mean? Went over a few scriptures with the brother, man. He like, yeah, that's what's up. He did, but nah, baby girl, all good. They were trying to say her kidneys wasn't working and all that, man. Look, y'all know how we do. We touch and agree. And we stay laser focused on the outcome we want. And man, I'm talking about these things been hitting with super precision. Bah, bah, bah. Like, whoa.
Yeah, everybody be covered, man. I mean, mom's sitting up in her chair in her new nursing home. I mean, Mally, I showed him the sword, man. Look, bro, no human. Yeah, she had to go through what mom went through. I'm talking about her body. I can imagine what Job went through now, because I have a visual of what it was on my mama body.
Yeah.
When I tell you sores, head to toe.
That was horrendous.
I'm talking about bleeding out of everything.
The Most High had different plans, brother.
Yeah, man.
Rejoice and believe. Rejoice and believe. We got the right to choose the outcome we want. Faith of a mustard seed move mountains, baby.
That's right, man. Yeah. She good now, though. She good now.
All praises, brother. Hey, man, why don't you give us a psalm or something, man? Pray on out, brother. And we definitely keep, all those who are plagued in mind, body, and spirit, lifted up before the throne of the Almighty. We touch and agree to see massive healings and be witnesses to miracles day in, day out. Absolutely. It did. And, definitely your mother-in-law as well, brother. Yeah. All praises, glory, and honor to the Most High forever live as anointed, beloved Son. And y'all, I pray these classes give y'all courage and give y'all strength to stand. Stand, man. Look, stand up with the Most High. Stand on his word. Stand on his truth. And you'll forever be blessed behind it. We ain't brothers that just jumped off the porch yesterday. We've been doing this for years, and we be good. Nehemiah, we be good around this time, don't we?
We be good around these parts there, boy.
Great, hey, I don't see what the big fuss is about. You know what I mean? So, praise. Nehemiah, give us a psalm or something, man. Let's pray on out, brother.
Man, I'm gonna hit him just with a Psalms 100, man, just to make a joyful noise real quick.
Let's do it.
All right. Psalms 100 with the Most High's permission. Make a joyful noise unto YHWH'S. All ye lands, serve Yahweh with gladness. Come before his presence with singing. Know ye that Yahweh, he is Elohim. It is he that has made us, and not we ourselves. We are his people, and sheep of his pasture. Enter into his gates with thanksgiving, and into his courts with praise. Be thankful unto him, and bless his name. Verse 5. For YHWH is good, and his mercy is everlasting, and his truth endureth to all generations. Hallelujah. Say loud.
Yeah. Real thing this. All praise and glory now to the
Man, his mercy is everlasting.
Absolutely. And look, love y'all indeed in truth. All right, pray for us as we continue to pray for y'all. And keep all the afflicted that are plagued in their mind, body, and spirits. Keep them all lifted. We should all be sending out vibrations of healing, vibrations of peace, vibrations of righteousness all the time. All the time. Be that vessel of light you were created to be. The Most High is always giving and sharing. We should be doing the same thing. You understand? When I say giving and sharing, I'm talking about in your prayers. Not just for yourself, but others as well. I consciously send out, the vibration of healing and peace worldwide. And may it hit all who is intended to hit. You understand? So that's what we're supposed to be doing. There's 8 billion different, forms of thought on this earth for 8 billion people. You dig? And we all supposed to be putting out that vibration of peace, healing, love. You understand? We got the right to collectively choose the outcome we want. It's just whenever y'all ready to get it, let's get it. You understand? If one or two of us can make something move, imagine the whole nation of Israel making something move. You understand? You dig? But hey, one day it'll be. All right, we shall see eye to eye when the Most High redeems Zion. Until then, love y'all indeed in truth. Strap up, back up. Shout out to all the haters, jaw jackers, and naysayers. We love y'all too. And that ain't just a punchline. We send love and peace into your hearts as well. All right, pray for us. We intend to pray for y'all family. Y'all stay strong. Any questions, email us in the description box. And we'll try our best to get back with you in a timely manner. Love all y'all. Yo.